Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Erasmus Expeditions. We are here tonight with a very special game. We are kicking off a new trilogy titled Ironclad Covenant. This is an adventure that has been put out and published by Buckstar Games, who is a good friend and has been kind enough to sponsor this game. So this will be a little bit of an exhibition. We're going to touch on the first three parts of the adventure. The adventure is a unique concept because there are three different storylines that exist within this campaign, and you can run one of them, two of them, or all three of them. So we will be touching on the beginning of each of the three different campaign trails, if you will. So I'm very excited to get to this. This will be session one, also called Standing Still. We will be playing D&D 5th edition with a few homebrew rules kind of mixed in like we usually do here. In just a minute, I'm going to pass things over to my players so that they can introduce themselves, tell you where you may be able to find them, plug anything that they have going on and things before we get started. But before I do that, I want to give the same warning that I give on the beginning of all of my games, and that is if foul language and mature subject matter are a problem for you, then this is not a good place for you to spend any time at all. Turn around. But if those things do not bother you, then take a seat. What else? Oh, yes. If you are interested in buying a copy of Ironclad Covenant for yourself, which I highly recommend that you do, you should be able to find the link to where it is on sale on DriveThruRPG. So go and support Ben. Give him some money. What else? Okay, I think that's all the business that I need to touch on. So I'm going to pass things over now to my players. First up is Alan.
Oh, hi. My name is Alan, and I am playing Silas Thorne. He's a half-elf sorcerer. Happy to always be part of one of Jeremy's games and playing with my fellow players here. It's been a while, so happy to get back in the D&D seat and roll some dice and have a good time. So thanks for having me, Jeremy.
Always a pleasure, Alan. Yeah, it's been a while since we've gotten a game together, man. So I'm always happy to have you at the table. Always bring so much to the characters that you develop, and again, you just being somebody that's fun to spend time with. So, speaking of somebody that's fun to spend time with, next up is Kenya. And you didn't have to go first.
I did, honestly, when we loaded into the waiting room, I actually checked to see where on the screen I was. And if you put me at either of the 2 points, I knew at some point tonight I was going to be going first. But tonight I am in the middle of the screen, but I'm at the front of the pack with the rest of the group ready to play Jeremy's game. Haha. You like that segue there? That was smooth. I'm super excited. There are two fine people here that I have not played with before, and I have not had a chance to play with Tamiko and Alan in a very long time. So I am excited about this. This is going to be great. It's a spooky game. I'm going to enjoy it. And, ready for the consequences of the actions that we will probably be taking very shortly. And next up.
There are no consequences in my games. It never
That's
happens.
just a
lie. Always a pleasure, Kenya. I get the joy of playing with you at least once a month when we're able to get together, and ever more. And I'm excited that you agreed to be part of this game. So welcome. Speaking of welcome, but he only gets one welcome, at least for right now. Nathan.
I'm Nathan, also known as Dimension 119. That's where you can find me on all of the socials. I am a part of the State of Survival podcast on YouTube. We do survival video games mostly, and we're kind of in the middle of a transition phase right now. We're looking at a change in direction and maybe some rebranding. So definitely go check it out now and show some support, but don't be surprised if you do and it looks completely different in a month, because we're looking at taking things a little bit of a different direction and hoping that gains us some more ground and we get farther on. But that doesn't have anything to do with playing D&D tonight and Jeremy asking me to be in another one of his games, which I'm always happy, honored, and delighted to be asked. And I always know that there's going to be a great group of people. I think I've played with 2 of these people maybe before, and the other 2 I haven't. But Jeremy has such a good crew that he puts together every time. I never worry about who I'm going to be on screen with and who I'm going to be interacting with. I know it's going to be a good time. So I'm going to be playing Naira. I'm going back to my Barbarian roots, and I can't wait to see what kind of trouble I stir up this time with a Barbarian.
Absolutely, Nathan. Thank you, man. I also get the pleasure of playing with you at least once a month, thankfully, in Thunder Ridge. Again, when we're able to get together. Also, an incredible group of players and a really fun story that we've been telling with that. I'm very excited to get back to that as well. But, dude, yeah, I absolutely love having you on as always. So I'm excited, and I love making the Venn diagram between people that I know bigger. I love introducing nerds to one another, and always surprised and pleasantly so at the chemistry that usually comes out of a lot of the groupings of people that I get the chance to play with. So very excited to see this group come together. All right. Speaking of seeing come together and being excited about it, next up is Jason.
You know, it's like I said in the side chat, you come to the Erasmus expeditions for the games, but you stay for the segues. Yes, I am Jason Osorio. Again, so happy to be back on the Erasmus expeditions. I also noticed, of course, that this entire bottom row here is wearing glasses, and then Jeremy's also wearing glasses. So it's like a pyramid of glasses. Anyway, I will be playing Tegan Hemlock tonight, who is a Hexblade arcane trickster rogue, and potentially a willing servant to one of the hags in the area where this game takes place. So I'm very excited to see how this goes. I love my spooky vibes, and absolutely, I'm sure we'll say it at the end, but I'll say it at the front end too. Subscribe, watch the Erasmus expeditions. Jeremy runs some fantastic games. Very excited to play with this amazing group of people, and I'm very much looking forward to kicking things off, seeing where it goes.
Hell yes, always a joy, Jason. Always a pleasure to have you on, man. I get the chance to play with you pretty frequently, thankfully. It might be by design. But
all according to plan.
Twirly, twirly. Speaking of twirly, twirly, I have no idea what that means. But next up, certainly not last is Tamiko.
Oh, hi, I'm Tamiko. This is my angry cat. Most of you already know me, but if you don't, I'm usually kicking around mini terrain domain, because I'm pretty much the unofficial mascot. At least when I'm not bumming around here, when Jeremy lets me bum around here. I will be playing Wynn Bixley, your average, run-of-the-mill, everyday fighter. Half-elf. And I am very much looking forward to seeing what Jeremy is going to unwrap for us over the next 3 sessions.
Yeah, I am very excited, maybe a wee nervous. I don't usually run pre-written modules. This is the first time that I've ever done this. So I'm hoping that I do it justice. This book is incredible. I do really, honestly, highly recommend that you go check it out if you like anything about what you see tonight. It is a very interestingly put together book. It is incredibly accessible. That's the word that I kept coming to. Every time that I found myself needing or wanting a piece of information, there was a way to access it quickly and efficiently in this book. And I was very, very impressed by that, amongst the other aspects of this game as well. As very well written, beautifully illustrated. We were talking about the art right before we went live. So definitely go check it out. I think, without further ado, unless there are any questions, then I think we can get started. Yeah, let's do it. The 4 decades following the previous Hag's Eye Moon had brought natural disasters, the disappearance of loved ones, prowling monsters, strange alchemical mishaps, and war to the people of the Faro Valley. now that the return of this dark celestial event was imminent. Its chilling shadow could be felt once more in every field and street. Despair has begun to spread through the denizens of Faro like a plague. Below us, the mist shrouds the gnarled trees of the Forest of Manes as we soar on the wings of a black bird. Borrowing the beast's keen eyesight, we spy a twisting road that snakes a path through the fog and foliage, creeping ever closer to the town of Rowansburg. The bird swoops downward, permitting us a clearer view of 5 figures traveling northwest on this pallid path beneath the shade of the Black Mountains, bound for the troubled village. Each of you, please introduce us to who it is we see traversing through this sinister wood.
I imagine maybe riding more towards like the rear of the pack, we see, probably a black horse of some kind, and mounted upon it is this tall, lanky woman. She almost looks a little stretched almost, but she's very elegant. She has this sort of ashen gray skin, this long black hair. I imagine she's wearing, it's clearly a stolen like military officer's jacket. It's like bright red. It has like the epaulets on it, but like all the medals have been torn off, tunic and breeches and boots. She has a black satchel at her side, and her eyes are this amber color, but they almost look serpentine. There is something almost ethereal and a little off-putting about this woman, but she seems relatively at ease. And every now and again, there's something in her satchel that twitches and moves, like there's something living inside this leather container. As she looks around, seeming relatively at ease given maybe the mist that's coiling through the forest and the fact that we are traveling in the shadow of these mountains, as she looks at the others.
Riding closer to the front is a young woman of average height and build with honey brown hair and green eyes and a perpetual look of annoyance on her face. Maybe that's her face. Maybe it's just been a very long journey and she's just over it. Who could say? Um, she's not very talkative. She's just riding in silence and keeping a wary eye on the surrounding woods as we pass through.
Somewhere closer to the edge of the path, closer to the tree line, and or whatever foliage is around, writes Naira. Just a kind of a garden variety wood elf at first glance, but if you look closer, you notice that he's a lot more cut than a normal wood elf. He's there's a lot more bulge of muscle than your typical elf. It kind of actually stands out, but weirdly, you can tell by his movements and the way he carries himself that he's not used to this build. It's almost as if it's relatively recent that he's gained this strength. And he's just silently riding along, following the rest, staying towards the foliage and the woods. Every now and then, maybe slowing them out and looking at a tree and studying a leaf and markings. He's definitely a barbarian, but he's a lot more contemplative and a lot more alert than your typical barbarian.
Riding in the center is a half elf, tall but lanky. His skin is pale, almost like alabaster. His long dark hair is pretty much a contrast to how pale his skin is. and he almost seems to always have a furrowed brow, as if he's disturbed by something, or something is just not sitting well with him. And he is examining his forearm, and his porcelain skin has this sort of black spot that is almost looks like necrotic decay that is stretching across. And you can see him kind of just moving his fingers as if to test if like the muscle is still working in his arm. And if he were to notice anyone kind of glancing, he would quickly just kind of pull over his robe over to hide his affliction.
At the front of the group, next to Wynn, is another woman. She's kind of tall, humanoid looking. There's something about her that tells you she's not actually human, but definitely could pass for a standard human. And she has this hair that is this shade of blonde, that it isn't gray, but it almost has these kind of silver type highlights kind of running through it. Her eyes are this, just the like deepest, richest kind of chocolate brown color that you can imagine in a pair of eyes. And um on her back is a massive great sword that matches and is quite beautiful in how it's constructed. It matches her armor that she's wearing, both of them in this gunmetal steel gray color with silver lining on them. There's a glaive strapped alongside her on her horse, and for the most part, aside from the occasional comment here or there, she doesn't speak a whole lot, but her eyes are always moving and always watching. She's always looking in shadows and looking forward down our path. And on the occasion, um, she will kind of turn back, and just those that have traveled with her know now that it's not a I'm worried about what's behind us. It's a check in on her team, making sure, just have to count hens or count heads real quick, like a kind of like a mother hen just watching over everyone. And 1, 2, 3, okay, they're all here. And otherwise, the most noise that comes from her is the kind of soft clanging of her armor as she rides.
As the group continues to press onward towards the village of Roansburg, this forest, the Forest of Mains, is very much kind of what you think of like a classic like dark forest, like the Black Forest in Germany. These very old growth trees that are kind of twisted to the point where they look like they're entangled with one another. And there's enough of a canopy that it blocks out a good portion of the daylight in here, but not much other foliage aside from that. It's the kind of place where you'll hear that kind of twisting knock of wood, that kind of just kind of off in the distance somewhere, and then pure silence that follows it. It's hard to shake the feeling that you're alone here, that you might have something watching you. Someone, a volunteer, if you would. Anyone. Or we can roll a die if you would prefer.
I will volunteer for you. I will be the first
Kenya,
to jump.
Thank you so
to
much.
jump up and take this sword.
Ash.
Mm-hmm.
It is as you're riding through this twisted, gnarled old forest that you start to realize that like not all of it is just natural underbrush and twigs and limbs of these trees. you start to notice other things, other shapes, like in some of these twisted, gnarled, entangled, like wooden knots. And then you start to realize that there are like wicker statues that have been assembled and just placed randomly, seemingly randomly, throughout the woods, just off the path, not on the road, not right by the road, but in clear line of sight in certain places. They're visages of tortured people and animals like twisting in agony, some of them monsters of horrifying appearances. If you would, please, I would like for you to roll a wisdom saving throw. A 13. You manage to. Are you immune to frightened yet as a paladin? I don't remember what level that happens at.
It is not on my little thing over here, so I do not
Then
think so.
no. You feel this fear based on what you're seeing, these wicker statues. You feel that kind of start to rise up inside of you, and you manage to kind of get a hold of it and push it back down at the last moment. But how is it that Ash manages to compose herself through this fear?
I think there's a... I think as the fear kind of starts to build around her, she kind of starts to tense up, and she can feel that kind of panic rising, and immediately she starts to think back to just the years and years of training that she's had as the soldier that she used to be, and she begins to kind of call on that, and a vivid memory of as a young kind of just a young child, just kind of being held over this kind of pit of snakes, that it reminds these trees, they remind her of that, and she remembers hearing that voice, that loud booming voice, just telling her that her fears are beneath her and that she needs to learn to control them. And she just kind of hears this lesson over and over and realizes that she grasps onto that little part of that child that finally overcame that fear, and grabs it and holds on to it. And she takes a large, deep breath and taps on the front of her armor once, and then kind of shakes it all off.
Do you point them out or say anything about them to anyone else?
Probably after she would shake it off, she kind of looks over at the horse next to her over at Wynn, and do you see them in the roots?
The woven wicker things?
She'll
I
stop her
see
horse
them.
for a second and kind of pull it, well, not stop it, but like pull it over closer to Wynn, and there. That couple. Look at their faces, the agony, sorrow, their hands slipping apart.
Wynn squints. Is that what you see?
She just kicks the horse up and
Sorry, Ash. I'm not very good with art.
it's fine. She'll kind of call back to the rest of the group. Be on your guard.
Everything all right, precious Ash? You seem a little nervous. And I think you see that Tegan is smiling. I think you get the sense, Ash, that she was watching kind of this moment as you steeled yourself before you pointed out the wicker figurines to Wynn, these sort of snake-like eyes gleaming as she smiles at you. And there's just maybe a few too many teeth in that smile. No need to be scared. It's just a forest.
Most forests don't contain statues of animals and people in the final throes of their lives. And she'll kind of point over to one over there,
And I think
pointing it out to the whole group.
right. Yeah, Tegan will look over at these sort of figurines. Jeremy, out of curiosity, do these look like anything that Tegan might recognize, given who her mother is potentially?
Yeah, I was just writing in our side chat, like, to all of you, this would absolutely scream witches. Like, this is the kind of thing that, like, you would either know to expect or have been told, you know, through legend or lore to expect, you know, whenever you're in the vicinity of witches.
I think Tegan would clock that and then look back to you, Ash, and just to sort of the group, just say, just be respectful, don't stray from the path, and everything will be fine. In fact, you know what? I'll even guarantee it. And she's going to open her satchel, and that thing that was kind of thrashing inside, you see this, like, I imagine it's just this really old bat. It's got like this one bulging eye and another one that's a little more sunken in. And she kind of eases him out. He kind of like flops around a little bit. And she says, "Fly, Gwyn." And she throws this bat named Gwyn into the air. And she will have her familiar Gwyn out, just kind of like circling the group, just to keep an eye from the sky. Yeah, she seems completely relaxed. For her, I imagine this is pretty typical. Interesting, but pretty typical.
I thought bats couldn't see.
They can. Echolocation.
As we grow closer to the midnight's moon, the witch's powers will grow. I imagine these woods will overflow with their dark magic. I can feel it. A deep presence. A prickle. Funny. It's odd to feel anything, really.
Do you suppose they're just statues? Or do you think there's something inside of them?
I think each one is a story. Something lost, but not forgotten.
That's very poetic, Silas. You really should have been an artist instead of this.
Well, destiny chose this for me.
Destiny can be changed. You just have to know the right people, right?
I believe that's what got us in this predicament in the first place.
Could get you out too, maybe. Depends.
A deal with the devil is never a deal at all.
Naira, you've been awfully quiet. You're studying the leaves with such intensity. Have they revealed their secrets to you?
As you look back to Naira, he's not on the horse anymore. He's down by one of these figures. For a minute, you might think he's handling one of the figures, but he's not quite that unintelligent. He's just very, very close, both hands and face, examining one of these figures to see if he can glean any information, if he recognizes anything that like would indicate who, if it is like a famous witch or a well-known witch in the area, that sort of thing.
I imagine that there is a degree of Rorschachness, to these sculptures, if you will. It's a little bit of the eye of the beholder as to kind of like what you see, what details kind of stand out to you. But there's no question that these are definitely sculptures that are purposefully arranged in like contortions of like agony and pain, suffering, on their knees, with their arms kind of thrown backwards and their head turned skyward. The two individuals being, pulled apart from one another, their hands, starting to loosen. Um, Children that are, alone and scared looking. As far as like who might have crafted these things, it's not really the kind of thing that has like a telltale, stamp to it or anything like that. They may not have even been done by the same person. Some of these are older than others, and but there is no question that there was likely some kind of magic involved in forming these. Old kind of magic, nature magic.
I don't suggest meddling with any of these, but they do tell a story, as most of us already know. Let us not become one of these stories.
Wise words.
The dark shape of the winged bird above you caws loudly, kind of piercing that quiet silence of an old growth forest. And as the bird kind of pulls away, we hear a different sound that was masked by the cawing of the bird. Something else now kind of tears through this empty forest, and you hear shouting. An overcast day is now broken by this distant shouting. You crest a hill and reveal an elderly woman on a carriage being threatened by a small group of highwaymen and a giant. The woman is forcefully pulled from her seat and hits the ground hard as the thieves swarm her vehicle.
When you say a giant, Jeremy, do you mean like an actual giant or just like a really big dude or dudette?
So unnaturally large,
Okay.
definitely like giant-sized individual. It's hard to tell from this distance, what kind of giant they could be, but definitely larger, probably almost twice as tall as the companions that they're with.
Ash kind of eyes up the situation ahead and lingering on the giant a little bit longer and looks over at Wynn and then back at the rest of the group. Do we meddle?
Absolutely. That old woman needs our help.
Maybe if we're lucky, she's a witch and we'll save her and she'll let us through the rest of her damned forest.
Ever so wise, precious Ash. And I think Tegan's going to slip off of her horse, and she starts to pull out this cloak from her satchel that it looks like cloth, but it has a texture similar to bark. And I imagine there's like these little, like maybe just a couple inches long, like branches kind of sprouting out of the cloak. And she's going to put it on and pull up the hood. And I think maybe Silas, with your sort of grounding in magic of some kind, specifically more like imagine like the arcane sort of sorceress magic, I think you get a very strong sense of fey energy from this cloak, as she's going to pull the hood up on her dryad skin cloak and start to slink off into the surrounding forest, just leaving her horse behind.
It seems these woods will claim lives. As I slip off the horse and I reach into my robes and I pull out just this blackened onyx-like rod and begin to kind of walk in a slow, steady pace behind Ash.
Charge in or walk in?
Hmm.
We've taken tougher. I'm not so sure about the giant, but the others. We've got this.
Um, think one point Ash would probably, yeah, I think she'd kick into her horse a little bit and kind of pick up the pace, pick up the trot a bit, and maybe not full blown charging in, but there's definitely a bit of a tick up in energy to get to where they're going. And she starts to approach with the group with her, and she locks eyes with whoever the first person is that looks in their direction, and she does not break that eye contact with them as she approaches. Um, her
You see,
sword is already off of her back and kind of just sitting across her lap.
you see one of these individuals who has turned at the sound of your galloping horse and has locked eyes with you and raises an elbow to nudge the individual who's standing beside him, kind of jerks his stubbled chin kind of in your direction. Smythe, we've got company. Everybody, please roll initiative.
Before
Hey.
things go down, can I clarify? Did Tegan slip off into the woods on
Correct.
a flank?
Sounded
Correct.
like that.
Naira, at the same kind of time, slipped off and went the other direction into the woods.
Mm-hmm. Pincer
Only the
Very
cool kids go to the
Barbarian-like.
woods.
Okay, so we've got Silas with a 13. Tegan with a 4.
We're going great right out of the gate, you guys.
Yeah. Strong
First
start.
roll of the game, natural 1.
Win.
My initiative is a -1, so
Oh god.
Hey. You can only
it
go up
makes
from
sense
there,
for
right?
like the background of her character, like of the
Right.
character and stuff, but it's just like oof,
Oof.
oof.
3, 4, 5. All right, we've got Ash with a 14, Silas with a 13, Wynn with an 8, Naira with a 7. Thank you, Jason. Take a point of inspiration, please.
Hey.
Tegan with a 4. Okay. With those incredible numbers, these stellar starting points, the bad guys get to go first. I know, everyone is shocked. So the individual who is rather large is going to be going first. He turns and takes like 3 lumbering steps forward, each one kind of like shaking the branches of the trees all around you, and is going to try to close with you, Ash. And he is going to swing a short sword that is probably closer to greatsword in length at this point. Let me see here. What is your armor class?
16.
16. Oh, that's gonna connect. He steps forward, brings this blade up, and you can see these like nicks and rust all up and down the length of this blade. And you have just about enough time to think tetanus, and this thing is going to collide with you. You're going to take 8 points of slashing damage. As this thing bypasses your armor and cuts into your shoulder right at the clavicle. And he just kind of like bowls past you and your horse, lumbering again, kind of forward. The thing that strikes you odd, Ash, now that you've gotten this close, is this individual is dressed and equipped a lot like the rest of these brigands. Doesn't look like a genuine giant. Like there's not, the bulbous nose and like the kind of like swollen face that you would kind of come to expect from maybe like a hill giant. Okay. With that, as the giant begins things, the rest of the brigands turn and engage you as well. Some of them firing crossbows from their position at the wagon in cover. Let's see, there are 7 of them in total. So, all right. Each one of you is going to get 1 shot from a crossbow, and then there will be 1 other lucky contender that gets something else here. Ooh. Silas, what is your AC?
It is currently 12.
12. Okay, that is going to hit you.
Okay. You're
going to take piercing to the tune of 7 points of damage. Next is Ash. You're going to get another shot. Your AC was 15?
16.
16. They have a plus. That also hits. Piercing to the point of 3 points, so you get a grazing shot. Naira.
Question, Jeremy. Would Naira and maybe Tegan also get some kind of cover for being in
possibly.
the woods, potentially? If
Naira,
you think that's fair.
Were you trying to hide? Were you slicing the pie stealthily?
Definitely.
Okay. Give me a stealth check just to see if they've even noticed you.
I also have a feature. I don't know if this matters. It doesn't really give me any bonus, but I do have Mask of the Wild, which lets me attempt to hide when I'm lightly obscured. It doesn't give me a bonus or anything like that, but just in case that matters.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to necessarily do anything to the roll, but it would be a circumstantial kind of like, this is why you're able to hide this easily. There's not a ton of cover out here, but it is kind of dark and spooky and misty and fog.
It's an 11.
An 11. All right, let's see. Okay, no. They definitely saw you. So what is your AC then?
14.
They hit a 14, so you're also going to get a little love. That is 6 points of piercing. Tegan, your cloak, what does that do for you?
It gives me advantage on stealth checks.
All right, go ahead and roll that for me if you would, please.
Roger, roger.
Roger, roger.
That is a natural 20 for a 27.
Ooh, baby. All right. Ain't no way in hell they're going to see you. Nope. Okay. That means I get to pick someone else.
Oh, no.
We'll have 2 at the end. Wynn, what is your AC?
I'm also a 16.
It sails over your head, like clattering into the tree branches and stuff above you. Harmless as can be. Okay, the last 2. One of them's going to go to 1, 2, 3. Wynn. And, okay. Wynn, both of them are going to be shooting at you.
Sweet. They know who the
second
threat
one
is.
Going to hit. What was that?
I said they know who the threat is.
It's true. That's 16, you said?
Yes.
Okay, so the last 2 actually did hit you. So 4 points from the first of those 2. Oof, 10 points from the second of them.
Jeez.
That last bolt fucking sunk to the fletchings, like into your abdomen. Ouch. Okay. That is all the bad guys. Ash, it is your turn.
Oh, that's me. Sorry. New name. Hootis.
Hootis. New character Hootis.
Yep,
New character Hootis. Ash she picked that gallop up a little bit, and it makes sense that she took the melee from the giant that was there, and then the rest took all the crossbows. This has probably become pretty routine for the group. They're used to her kind of darting out ahead of everyone with a full purpose as she kind of slides off her horse and it moves off to the side a bit away from her. And she is going to take a couple steps forward, kind of uh towards that giant, getting up in its face, and she's going to activate her necrotic shroud. So she kind of stands there and she's got blood kind of seeping out from between the plates and stuff that she's wearing, and she just kind of gives this large man this look, and she's holding his eyes in hers, and she laughs and gives him a little smirk as she inhales, and all of the shadows around them, from under the wagon, under each of the people around them, under her horse that's walking away, all of them kind of start to slide and slither and move, and they kind of pull up into Ash, and they kind of start to transform her and move around her. So all of the enemies that she got up to with those steps that are within 10 feet of her have to make a charisma saving throw or be frightened until the end of my next turn.
Excellent. Okay. Roll me a d4, please.
Okay. I can do that. Is a tree.
A tree?
3.
Okay. So. And what is your DC again?
The DC is a 13 on that.
And it's a charisma?
DC 13
Ooh.
charisma.
None of these peoples are charisma peoples. They all
good,
failed
good.
terribly.
Yay!
So, the giant and 3 of the others are who you came into contact with, quote unquote.
Nice.
So we now have 4 of them that are frightened, you said?
Yes, they are frightened of me until the end of my next turn.
Okay.
They have a disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while I'm in their line of sight, and they cannot willingly move closer to me.
Roger, roger. Okay. 3 of them, you kind of hear, "She's a witch!" And kind of like move to the other side of the wagon from this like swirling magic that seems to be surrounding Ash as she rides through and past several of them. One of them kind of like dives underneath the wagon to try to get away. The giant kind of throws his hands up, kind of blocking you from sight as if you were, too bright of a sun, as if that was going to do something. Silas, it is your turn.
After getting grazed by one of these bolts, Silas grips his arm where this bolt had grazed him. "You dare!" And the shadows around pull in to center around him. His eyes become dark orbs as he holds out this black rod. And I'm going to twin spell my Ray of Frost as 2 ice beams fire out at 2 of these individuals within 60 feet. So whichever makes the most sense there.
Sure.
I rolled a 22 and a 23 attack.
I mean, it's close, but both of them hit.
Okay, good deal. So one will take 3 cold. The other one will take 5 cold, and they both have their speed reduced by 10 feet until their next turn.
Okay. Do you want 2 of these to be the same ones that are frightened of Ash, or 2 new ones?
Let's go with 2 new ones.
2 new ones. All right, so we've got 3 on the first of those and 5 on the second, and they are slowed by 10 feet.
They are slowed by 10 feet, correct.
Okay. How many HP do these dudes have? That much. Okay. These bolts fling out from Silas, striking 2 of these individuals. Is there like a visual effect as the magic kind of takes hold of them?
Yeah, I imagine as they're hit with these frost rays, the ice kind of like builds over and they're kind of like layered in a kind of a permafrost as their clothes kind of like rattle with cracking ice, and they kind of have like that frost billowing coming off of their skin. So
nice. I learned that's what the word rhyme means. It's like coated in frost.
there you go.
So yeah, there you go. The more you know. Do 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 do. That's Silas. Wynn, you're up.
As the bolts from Silas come shooting seemingly out of nowhere, like or no, you're not in the woods. You're behind us, right? Okay. Come shooting out from behind. Wynn with 2 bolts stuck in her chest still, basically vaults off of her horse, grabbing her, grabbing her pike and holding it in front of her. She's going to be going after one of the not big guys.
Okay.
Who is not visibly afraid of Ash at this moment.
Gotcha. So there are 2 of those who are covered in rime, and 2 of them who are not.
Oh. Okay. So I will probably go after one of the ones that Silas hit.
Okay, excellent.
And I'll be using my 5-foot reach on my pike as well as a superiority die.
What?
Wherein, if I hit, I will be attempting to trip this individual.
Nice. Okay. Are you still on horseback?
No, I vaulted myself.
Oh, that's
off
right. You
my
did
horse.
say that. Badass.
I
Make
try.
your attack, please.
I try. All right, that's going to be a 16 to hit.
That will absolutely make contact.
Magnificent. So with the, with this, I'll need a, get out of the way, dice. I will need a DC 14. DC 14 strength saving throw.
Negative.
And on a failure, they will be knocked prone.
Nice. Okay.
Oh, you probably want damage for that hit too, hey?
I mean, that's up to you.
Well, it's helpful.
Do you want the one that is less damaged or the one that is more damaged?
I'll go for the one that's more damaged.
Okay. He's also now prone. This was the practice in the day.
And that's going to be 9 damage, piercing.
9 damage. Holy cow. All right. Okay, definitely bloodied, not killed, but is probably wishing he was.
And
yeah,
she's smirking at him.
Absolutely.
With her pike and her bolt.
I imagine with that amount of damage in one swipe, and considering the amount of total hit points he has, you probably cleft his leg off, I would imagine, with your pike.
She'll say, you might want to run.
He's grabbing his leg, at the end of this stump that has just appeared where his knee used to be. And there is dark blood spraying like everywhere on the forest floor, and he's screaming in pain, somewhat reminiscent of the wicker statues that you passed not that long ago. Okay, that was Wynn. Naira.
Are any of the enemies that Ash frightened, are any of them very close to the wood's edge?
Absolutely. One of them is, on the other side of the carriage, kind of somewhat cowering.
So I would like to go after him or her, but I want to rage before I do that, and just thematically, kind of playing off the frightened nature he already has. He may see Naira before he rages, but Naira kind of walks behind one of these trees, and out the other side, it's still Naira, but there's almost this bear kind of visage over top of him, and it's almost as if this guy can't decide if Naira came back out of the other side of the tree or if a bear came out of the other side of the tree. It's unclear, but whatever it is wielding a great axe coming at this guy.
Fuck yeah.
All right, that's going to be a 19 to hit.
Struck me as a thing that was both. It was both man and bear. 13th Warrior. Fucking badass movie. I saw the fire worm, sure enough, though, on the last night. Sorry, go ahead.
19 to hit with math, 15 damage.
15. Okie dokie. Yeah, you. What is it that you wield as a weapon again?
It's a great axe.
A great axe. You almost cut him in half. Like you sunk your blade deep enough into him that it's probably only really stopped by the carriage behind him. There's just like this resounding like thunk of your axe actually like embedding itself into the wood on the other side of him. And he also is screaming in pain.
And Naira in this rage state has lost a little bit of his composure that he had riding in, and he just gets right in this guy's face and lets out that snort that bears do.
Fuck yeah. Okay. That was almost a full round. Tegan, last but certainly not least.
Yeah, so
Bad cleanup.
Yeah, hopefully. I think there's this moment where we sort of see like the glint of a crossbow bolt, and then just above it, this pair of like, again, yellowish orange eyes as Tegan, watches her companions do this. She looks to Wynn, the sole survivor, as she's swinging her pike. She looks to Silas, this blighted individual shooting off rays of frost. She looks to Naira, unleashing this beast within himself, and then her eyes settle on Ash, and I think you see that kind of crooked smile widen, and she's going to aim a crossbow bolt from hiding at the throat of this frightened giant individual. That is a 19 to hit.
Will hit.
And that is 12 points of piercing damage, including the sneak attack damage.
What was the total again? Sorry?
12.
12. Okay, damn. Y'all are laying down some hurt. Okay. Again, enough to bloody, but not enough to kill. This bolt, this arrow kind of sinks itself into the base of this giant's neck, looking almost silly in scale, being so small compared to his throat. But the damage that it has caused is obvious, and you can hear him. And there's a massive globular of blood that like spits from his mouth, hanging somewhat in the mutton chops and mustache that he has, spatting onto the ground. It's clear that you have caused some irreversible damage.
And I think Tegan kind of calls out over the din of the battle, "Finish him off, precious Ash!" And then she just fades into the woods with another 18 stealth check as a bonus action.
All right. Stealthing is a bonus action. What is your stealth check?
18.
18. Perfect. Okay.
Oh, and actually, I'm sorry. One more thing I did forget.
No.
So Gwyn, the bat that is flying around,
Oh, yes.
can he just make some kind of check to see if there are any other like brigands or bandits like on the way? Can he just check to see if there's like anyone else approaching this kind of combat scene?
He can make a perception roll. Absolutely.
I
Do you
shall
have a way of communicating with Gwyn?
Yeah, I mean, I think Gwyn's a dude bat.
Dude bat. Gwyn.
Gwyn. I think I can. I think is it a bonus action? If it's an action or a bonus action, I don't have the ability to do that. Let me double check. Blah, 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 blah. I can communicate with it telepathically. It doesn't say it costs anything as long as he's within 100 feet. So, and
that's what I was
he
looking
is.
for.
Yeah, perfect. All right, let me go ahead and roll this. Bats don't have. Actually, they got decent perception. Let's see. That's a terrible roll though. So that's a big old 4.
Sweet. There are so many screams that are emitting from this group of that you are carving up that apparently that is all Gwyn can really see, quote unquote. It's just
he's old.
Chaos.
It's just
true.
an old bat. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. End of round 1. Round 2. Fight. First up is Giant, who is terrified of Ash, cannot move closer to you, and if you're in line of sight, it gives him disadvantage on his attacks. Is that correct?
Disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of its fear is within the line of sight.
Okay, cool. I am not going to count the fact that he put his hand up to block you from view as not being line of sight, because that's stupid. But he is doing that. Let's see. What is he going to do? I know what he's going to do. He turns around and tries to run at you, Silas. He ran past Ash and her horse initially, so he's just going to kind of keep running down the road that you're approaching from. And he is going to try to punt you. Are you still on your horse? No, you got down? Okay.
Yeah.
He is just straight up. He's straight up going to try to punt you.
Long shot. Did he perchance run within 10 feet of myself or Ash?
Yeah. I mean, you were beside Ash whenever she rode off, so he would have had to have passed you. And you have reach with your weapon, so he may or may not have misjudged that. I'm good with that.
Ooh. So do I get an AOO?
If you would like to. Swing away, Mabel. Swing away.
Of course I want. Of course. That's going to be a 24 to hit.
It'll hit. It will kill. Probably.
That's a 1 on my die, but I have a feature that lets me re-roll those.
Ooh, savage.
I know, right? Ooh, big spender 6.
Hey, better than 1.
It's better than 1.
6 points all up to the giant. That is a total of 18. Wynn, how do you stop this giant from punting Silas?
What is it? So this giant was so hyper focused on Ash until he was afraid, deathly afraid of her, and decided that Trent Reznor in the back was easy pickings. So he, what is it? So this large individual just started charging, not thinking apparently, towards Silas, and as he passed Wynn, she just casually brought her pike out to catch him, like clip him right in the shin as he was going by. So it probably did a lower clothesline on him and basically wiped him out. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And he probably skidded to a stop right in front of Silas's horse.
Fuck yes. Yeah, there's like this massive like thud and like dust comes up from the road as he slides to a stop right at your feet, Silas. Okay. Well done, Wynn. First kill of the game. Take a point of inspiration.
Ooh, thank you.
Okay. Now for the rest of the brigands. Let's see. Oh, I know. First up, Naira. I love you, Nathan. All right. This brigand pulls from his belt a vial, and with a deft thumb kind of flicks the cork off and downs the contents as he's like struggling against the weight and the pain from this wound. And as he does so, he looks up with you with kind of this sadistic smile, Naira, and you can see like there's spittle like dripping out of the corner of his mouth, and when it lands, you can hear it. He opens his mouth, and you can see what looks like the inside of a volcano as he breathes fire all over you. So, I need you, please, kind sir, to make a dexterity saving throw as a 15-foot cone of flame engulfs you.
Well, my dice strike again.
Like
That's going to be a 6.
Ooh, okay. You're going to take 8 points of fire damage.
That should still fall under my resistance since I'm raging, correct?
It does not normally. Our barbarian's rage usually is bludgeoning, slashing, and piercing.
I think mine. Let me find it. I think
Certain
mine's
kinds
like
of archetypes
everything
do
but
give
psychic.
it to other types of damage.
I believe you get other stuff as bear, but I can't remember what level you get that at.
Yeah, bear. While raging, you have resistance to all damage except psychic damage.
Perfect. Hell yeah, dude. I figured you probably were bear based on your description, but just wanted to make certain.
So that would
Then
cut
yes,
it to 4, correct?
It would do what?
Cut it to 4, right?
Yes. Yeah. 4 fire damage. Is there any kind of like visual like explanation to that kind of protection that your archetype gives you?
I think that just based on the way I kind of flavored it earlier, I think that the bear kind of shadowy figure that's kind of in and out behind him, I think that takes like partial damage, and the physical damage that's actually going to be applied happens to Nair, but some of that flame is kind of sucked up into that visage that's kind of looming behind.
Oh yeah. Almost like it kind of like turns into smoke, like joins part of its form or something. Like yeah, it's rad. Okay, that was the brigand with Naira. I don't think there were any others that were currently engaged with anyone. The two that are the most damaged, likewise pull out vials and quaff the potions. And as they do so, you watch as they both disappear in front of your eyes. That was one of the frost-covered ones and one of the non-frost-covered ones. The other frost-covered one, who is slowed, is going to move forward and try to fire his crossbow once again. This time targeting Silas, who hit him with this magic that he is certain is a curse. Silas, love you, Alan. I rolled a 20. So Silas is going to take. I hurt myself today. That's 15 points of piercing damage from a critical. You're pretty sure he got along.
Yeah, that's actually going to put me down.
Ooh, okay. So just as the giant falls in front of Silas, Silas then immediately falls in front of the giant. Okay. 1, 2, 3. There are 2 more who are frightened of Ash. They are going to try to turn their attentions towards Wynn. They are going to approach you, Wynn, wielding short swords.
Can they approach me? I'm right next to Ash.
Ash just rode by a number of them at the carriage, didn't she?
Damn.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. What is your AC again, Wynn?
16.
16. All right. Okay, 1 is going to hit with their short sword. And the other whiffs completely. The one that connects is going to deal 4 points of piercing damage. It's so weird that short swords are piercing damage. It doesn't make any sense to me.
I think
You hear that, Watsy?
I was
Fix
gonna say,
it.
I think it's because like they were more like supposed to be like piercing weapons as opposed to slashing weapons. I don't know.
Anybody who has ever seen a gladius and calls that a piercing weapon is full of shit.
Right? It is kind of weird. Because they also have like rapiers, so it's like
yeah, exactly.
It's actually referring to the scream that you hear after you get stabbed.
There you go, a
there you go.
piercing scream.
Yeah, that's it.
You're so smart, Nathan.
True. Okay. Oh, wait. That was one of the ones that was afraid. So he actually has disadvantage because he is in line of sight to Ash. So he may not actually hit you. 16 is your AC?
Yes, sir.
No, he missed by 1 point.
Ooh, let me give
Okay.
me my HP back then.
Ash. There you go. Preventative
Thanks,
healing.
homie.
Okay. That was the 2 that were frightened. There are 2 more that don't have any current conditions on them at all. Other viable targets. They are going to round the wagon and close one with Naira. And Tegan, you are no longer visible. You just rolled a 20 on your stealth.
Yeah, it was an 18 stealth check. She's still in the woods.
You vanished.
I went to the Feywild. Wow.
Poof, motherfuckers. What is your AC, Naira? Again?
14.
14. Okay. That one hits you. The other one missed. Okay. The follow-ups are apparently the distraction. Short sword is going to be 7 points of piercing. Grumble, grumble. Halved to 3. Always round in the party favor.
Perfect.
Okay. I think that's all the brigands. Ash, it is your turn.
Okay, there are 2 guys behind the carriage with Naira, correct?
I believe there are 3.
There are
One
3?
that
Okay.
breathed fire, and then the 2 that just approached with short swords. They're definitely kind of converging on him.
Okay. And then there's 2 that went invisible.
Correct.
Okay.
So far, the giant is the only one that has been felled.
Okay. So there's 3 behind the carriage. There's 2 that are invisible. And then are there any more than that, or is that all of them?
3 behind the carriage.
Trying to get a layout.
An additional. Okay, there's 7 of them remaining.
Okay. 4, 5. So then the other 2 are the ones that are in the front dealing with the rest of the squad. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go back and help Naira then, because they can handle the ones in the front. Ash is going to round the corner, and she's gonna kind of see Naira, and she'll just look over the shoulder of one of the bandits, and she'll just smile at Naira as she takes her sword and just swings into this bandit she's behind.
All right, roll that beautiful beam footage.
Oh, that is probably not going to hit. That is only a 10.
It will not, sadly. It's going to glance off of his armor, the leather that he wears, though it is definitely worn. Apparently, it is enough to protect him from your strike. Anything bonus?
That is...
I don't think
have
paladins have a lot of bonus.
No, I don't really have
know
any
of.
bonus action stuff
Okay.
that I can do.
Alrighty. We move from Ash to Silas. Silas.
Hey.
Let's get that.
So I'm actually at 1 HP. I forgot.
Oh, okay.
So I have Strength of the Grave, which is when I'm reduced to 0 HP, I can make a Charisma save, DC 5 plus
Oh.
the damage taken, and on success, I drop to 1 HP instead. And this is usable once per long rest. So I rolled, and so 15, 5 is 20, and then my Charisma is 3 plus I have a luck stone, which gave me the 4. So luckily for that +1, I just made it, but 1 HP.
Hell yeah. Okay.
So I will take it.
What does it look like as this saves Silas's ass?
Yeah, so I imagine like kind of just like this bolt would probably thud in his chest, and then kind of staggers back a little bit, and as he like pulls it free, this kind of like black it's kind of like smoke is kind of like pulling out, and then it kind of just kind of comes back in, and kind of revitalizes him just for a moment.
Okay. Hell yeah. Then you have a full turn. What you gonna
Have
do?
a turn. I am going to I reach. I should heal myself, but I'm a glutton for punishment. I'm going to reach in to the side pouch, and he is grasping like a handful of sand. It is like spilling through his fingers, and I'm going to upcast sleep. And so basically, I have rolled 78 for 40 HP. So 40 HP worth of
40.
individuals I can
Okay.
see go to sleep.
Nice. And there's no range, right?
I believe there is a slight range to it, but let's see here. I think it's pretty good distance. Or it might just be one. 90 feet. Yeah, so pretty
90 feet. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would imagine that that's going to incorporate most of the battlefield. Do me a favor, roll a D3. So however you carve up a D6 to make it a D3. 2. Okay, I'm going to say that there were 2 of the foes on the far side of the wagon that are facing Naira that you're not able to see, but the rest of them absolutely. So 40 HP. I'm just going to clock the last 2 as the ones that are closed with Naira. So the first one, you have to be able to see them, or they have to be able to see you.
It's
because the ones that are invisible may still come into play, depending on the wording.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry, misread here. Okay, so it has a range of 90 feet, but it's creatures within 20 feet of a point that I choose.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
They're all relatively close to one another. They haven't really spread out from the carriage overly much.
Okay.
So you just have to be able to see the point,
Right.
and then anybody 20 feet out from that.
From that point, yeah.
Not based on vision at all. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
And then it's in ascending order of their current hit points.
Okay. So the one with the fewest first, and then that would be ascending.
Ascending, yeah. So
Okay.
the one with the least, and then up.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've got 40 worth to spend?
40 worth to spend, yeah.
Okay, so that dude is going to take 3 and go to sleep. Is it unconscious, I would assume?
Yeah, unconscious.
Okay. Night. Good night, Ned.
Night.
That was 3 points. The next one is going to take 18. It's 21 so far. The next one, another 18.
Hey, Alan, while he's counting, I don't know if it's relevant to you or not, but just a reminder to everyone that Jeremy has a house rule where drinking a potion is a bonus action.
Oh, yeah.
It is true.
Thank you. I will do that.
Okay.
I'll roll my 2d4 here.
So one of the ones that is invisible may or may not be asleep. You can't tell. But
We can't see them anyway.
the other 2 that are frightened of Ash both completely zonk out. So that leaves an invisible one that is unaccounted for, one that has rhyme on him until the end of your turn, and then the 2 others that are closed with Naira that are still awake. Yeah, Ben said the he's just tucking himself out, poor guy. It's a big day. Robbing carriages is hard. All right. That was Silas. Wynn, it is your turn.
I'm going to need to go after somebody who is limping and conscious and that I can see.
Okay. It's a hell of a dating profile.
Right? I'm not picky.
All right. So one of them is injured and visible, and the rhyme just cleared from him.
Wow. You never think you find the perfect guy, but there he is.
Not the first time around, but man.
So Wynn's gonna go charging at him with her big old pike. And that's going to be, come on, dice, be nice. 18 to hit.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, baby. That's 14 damage.
Damn. Okay. Wynn, you just got your second. What does it look like?
So she very quickly looks around and sees suddenly all of these guys just like, when they fall asleep, are they still standing up or do they drop when they're unconscious?
No, I imagine it's like chin to the chest, like face plant into the dead leaves, like snoring loudly.
So she just sees a bunch of people drop, grins, sees the guy who's still standing, like with the rhyme defrosting off of him, and she says, "Oh yeah," and just goes charging at him, slamming the pike into his belly, twisting, and then pulling it back out. She's an ex-soldier. We don't screw around.
Oh, yeah. Efficient. He gurgles once, twice, then collapses to the ground, holding his midsection never to move again. All right, that was Wynn. Naira. Surrounded. Ash coming in to give you some help. You got your choice of 3 targets.
So the guy that breathed fire on me that
Allegedly.
my axe is apparently still embedded in. Is he still awake?
Yes.
All right. So what I would like to do, you guys remember the scene in Endgame where Thanos has Stormbreaker and is trying to push it down into Thor's chest. That's what I would like to do right now. Just grab the heft of my axe and just start pushing down. And if I have to, just forearm, just banging on the haft of this axe, trying to drive it in deeper.
All right, let's roll an attack. You can have advantage.
I don't need it. That's a nat 20.
Okay. This is the one that had 14 on it. You can roll damage if you want to, but you're probably going to kill him. So roll damage and describe it, or just describe it. Manager's choice.
I mean, if I'm gonna kill him, I'll just describe it.
Go for it.
I think that given the description that I kind of got stuck on the cart a bit. I think at first Naira just grabs, like I said, grabs the top of the heft of this axe and starts pressing down, and it maybe goes just like in a small minuscule amount. So he just takes his arm and rears back and just starts hitting his forearm down on the handle of this axe. And as he's doing it, every couple of hits, this visage of a bear arm just gets bigger and comes across, and it's knocking this down. And he just goes until wherever this axe was embedded finishes splitting across and just cleaves him in half. And you can just see just a gouge through the cart behind him as well as he falls and splits.
The one side of him falls away and the other kind of stays upright, and that's when you look down and realize that the only reason it is because the hand on that side is twirled up inside, like your clothing on the front is like holding on to you with this death grip. You have to like pry the fingers off of you.
Oh, he doesn't even pry the fingers off. He just turns to one of these other guys that came to attack with a short sword, with just this arm still dragging across what's left of his clothes.
Fucking A. Take a point of inspiration, Nathan. Okay. 3 dealt with, dead, down. 4 more to go. Tegan, it is your turn.
All right. So first, how many invisible people are left? Do we know? Is it still the 2 of them that are invisible? Is
There
that
are
correct?
2 unaccounted for. One
Okay.
may or may not be conscious.
So funny story. Gwyn, as a bat, has 60 feet of blind sight. So I think what Tegan is going to
Perfect.
command this like old, like I imagine like patches of fur missing. This old bat is just gonna fly down and land on the one that is asleep and just kind of like flap his wings to get everyone else's attention. Meanwhile, because why not? I think as Tegan is watching Naira just destroy this guy after Wynn destroyed another guy, she just kind of shakes her head and says, "Magnificent." And then she's going to reach her fingers into her mouth, grab one of her molars, and pull it out of her gum as she starts to whisper some kind of magic under her breath. She was starting to pull out a healing potion to help Silas, but when she sees him stand and chug a healing potion, she realizes he doesn't need it. She's going to pop the cap off and drop the tooth into the potion, close it back up, put it back in there, and then she is going to attack. Let's do one of the guys with Naira with the light crossbow if she is within range of that.
Absolutely.
That will be a 21 to hit.
Will hit.
And that is 14 points of piercing damage with another crossbow bolt.
Points. Okay. Bloodied, not dead.
Perfect.
But wounded nonetheless. May or may not be as hurt as I am by your description of pulling your tooth out.
Yep, and it's weird. Like, there's no blood. I don't think she reacts as if there's any pain. She just kind of like hums to herself, tucks the potion away. She cannot stealth though again because I used my bonus action already. So that is it.
All right, storing that for later. Okay, that was Tegan. That was the end of round 2. Round 3, fight. The giant is dead. The brigands now get to go. What remains here? We've got 2. It is one of them is apparently asleep in the leaves because he has a decrepit bat roosted on top of him, just flapping away. There are 2 who are completely unconscious. There's one that is gravely wounded, standing near Naira, and another that is unwounded and standing near Naira. So, Naira, You're going to take 2 more attacks.
I can
16 was the magic number, yes?
take it. 14.
14. Okay. The first one, the one who is barely clinging to life, rolled a 1, so that kind of makes sense. The other one got a 16 on the die, so that's going to hit. And the short sword says swing for 5 points of piercing.
Is that already halved?
No, it is not. So that would be halved to 2.
Got it.
Okay. What else? What else? What else? Oh, I know what else. Ash, what is your AC again?
16.
16. All right. Suddenly, one of them appears out of nowhere, standing right behind you, plunging a short sword into your back for 5 points of, you guessed it, piercing.
Okay, I would like to use my reaction to activate Hellish Rebuke.
Sure. That sounds like
I
fun.
need a dexterity saving throw of 13, please.
Doubtful? No way. Failed. Rebuke him with your hellish ways.
That is 12 fire damage.
Oh, God. He feels rebuked.
10, baby.
He feels very rebuked. Okay. What does it look like as you end his life with this?
She gets stabbed in the back and her mouth opens in this like silent scream, and then she inhales and all of the like the shadows and stuff that are around her that were scaring everybody kind of take this flash of red fire as they lash out towards this guy that just stabbed her, and he instantly just starts burning and just third degree burns everywhere, and everything starts just, it's this horrific smell of burning flesh. But in a weird way, Ash just kind of, as she's inhaling, she kind of stands up, and there's this uh there's this look of just pure enjoyment at the fact of knowing that she just absolutely just burnt this man to a crisp where he was standing. And she then just takes one step forward towards Naira a little bit, just letting the corpse fall behind her, and doesn't even look back.
Hell yeah. Okay. They, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. That sound, that smell, definitely has denoted the turning point in this battle, and you can watch the morale begin to ebb from the remaining brigands. It does not look like they are going to stick this fight out, those that remain, if they have any say in the matter. Ash, it is now Silas's turn.
Was that Ash's turn? I thought that was just her reaction to being attacked.
Oh, fuck me, it was.
You're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So that was just the first of the brigands, right? The rest of them are sleeping.
I got attacked as well.
Okay, that was the one that was severely injured, right?
And
No,
then
you
there was
killed
the
him.
invisible one that
Think
popped
they-
up behind me.
I think the 2 that were by me both
That's
attacked
okay.
and 1 missed.
Got it. Okay. And the others aren't going anywhere because they're taking nappy poos. So Ash, it is now your actual turn.
Okay, so that step forward that she took then, thank you, Alan, because we would have both missed it. Ash takes that step forward, and there's the sound of that body just kind of thump, hitting the ground as it falls there, and she's going to um use her sword. She's going to take a swing at the one that is already injured in front of Naira.
All right.
Let's see if I can hit. I can't. Apparently, swords are not my thing. Just burning people alive like little toaster strudels.
We all have our strengths,
is what
Kenya.
they do. I rolled a 2, so that's a total of 6. So that's a big old no.
Nay, nay.
How injured are you, Naira?
I'm not doing too bad.
I think she'll just kind of like maybe reach between oh wait, no, I can't. It's an action. Never mind. That's it. That's my turn.
All right, very well. That was Ash. It is now Silas's turn.
All right. And then there's 3 left? Or how many?
Two.
How many are still up?
There's
No.
one left that is still conscious.
Oh, okay. All right. Very well. I will I'm gonna Ray of Frost this person. Let me do that.
It's very unkind.
That's a 17 to hit.
That will hit.
And that will be fine. Yeah, there we go. That's an 8 on the die, so 8 cold damage.
This one, 8 cold. Okay. I think, yeah. What does it look like, Silas?
Yeah, so I imagine holding out this onyx rod as this beam of frost is pouring out, and I'm just slowly walking towards this individual as the beam is just getting more and more concentrated, and this guy is just enveloping in frost, and it's like caking on to the point where icicles are forming like behind him, almost like if he's like running against the wind. And as I get over to him, I just take the rod and like bash it into his head as he crumbles into chunks of ice.
It shatters like a T2, and there are only the 3 unconscious brigands remaining. You finish the last of these foes off. The forest around you kind of grows still and quiet again in the aftermath of what has just transpired. And you are left alone with this mayhem that is unfolded here at the road, the carriage, and the elderly dwarven woman who you have just saved. She comes climbing out from underneath the carriage with some great effort, and eventually kind of gets herself to her feet. And she looks around at everything that has transpired here, and she's kind of dumbfounded. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. What a mess. Why would anyone do such a thing?
Who knows why morons do the things they do? How are you? Are you all right? You're not hurt, are you? And I think Tegan kind of steps out of the brush. She'll kind of pull the hood of her cloak back. Are you well? You aren't hurt, are you?
A little worse for wear. Some bruises, I am certain. This ground is unforgiving to these old bones.
Well, and she'll kind of look to the others. Were you perhaps bound for Rowansburg?
I have just come for Rowansburg.
Oh. Is everything well there, or what?
Oh,
Why are you on the road
no.
again?
No,
Oh,
no,
no.
no. There are missing children in Rowansburg.
Oh, no. That's unfortunate.
It is a grave matter. There's a lot of strange things that are happening as of late
Mm.
here in Faro Valley. It is lucky, though, a turn of good fortune to have run across you. Who is
Absolutely.
it that I have the honor of thanking with saving my life and my wares? She indicates the wagon.
I think Tegan's actually going to look to you, Ash. Just kind of like smiles and cocks her head to one side.
Ash has kind of released the shadows back to the ground and probably is just pulling her hand out from under her armor, shaking the like large amount of blood that's on it off onto the ground, and as she's just healed herself a bit with some lay on hands, and she looks over at Silas and kind of observing, are you still fairly, like, you still looking pretty rough over there?
I will survive, but yes, I could use a rest.
She'll lean over to him and sit down for a minute, and as she hits his shoulder, she'll give him 5 points of healing with lay on hands. And then she'll look over at the woman who Deegan's been talking to, and we are merely traveling along the road. My name is Ash.
Ash. Well, you are quite capable, all of you. Thank goodness. Silas, you would know, and Tegan, as it turns out, you would also recognize this individual. This woman is known as Sweet Benjamina. She is the steward of a place called the Sakar Inn. It's a bathhouse many miles to the south from here. As a side note, anyone who gets close enough to this older dwarven woman can sense that she smells rather strongly of flowers and honey.
Where were you heading? You said you left Rowansburg?
Just earlier this morning. I was headed back to my inn. It's some distance away, but I thought I'd try to put as many miles behind me as I could. You never know these days if travel's going to be safe or not. Well, she kind of indicates the death that kind of surrounds you. Who would attack an old woman on her own? People who have no manners.
Well, you know, with the imminent rise of the Hag's Eye Moon, it makes men into monsters and makes monsters even more voracious than usual. It's not safe to travel the roads alone.
True. Perhaps I could interest you in escorting me back to Roansburg, where I might hire some help to guide me, to protect me on the road. It's not far to Roansburg.
She'll look to the rest of the group.
I'm not opposed.
Is
Are we
it
headed
where
in
we're
that
heading
direction anyways?
anyways?
Yes, yeah. I was just about to say we're already heading to
You were,
Roansburg.
in fact, yes.
We might as well earn some coin along the road. What do we do with the ones that are asleep?
Pat them down. Bind their arms.
I say we kill them.
Slit their throats.
Ah, there we go.
Hey!
Hey! That's why you're the sole survivor, Wynn.
Return them
Pragmatic to a
death.
fault.
I would like to search these individuals if they have anything
Mm-hmm.
particular value, of course, but anything that would if they have any missives on them or any sort of indication of maybe they're a particular group or signet or something of those series.
Okay.
I have a quick question too.
Yes.
Easy yes or no. Did the giant shrink when he died?
He did after a moment.
It's
He returned
Okay.
to normal
were
size.
debating.
hard. It was a good question.
Indeed. Probably about the time that you start going around searching, you would kind of notice that he was a regular-sized man after all. Okay, so anybody who is searching these bodies, whether they're sleeping or dead, in whatever order that might happen, roll an investigation check for me, please.
I think Tegan will go over to the one that Gwyn is still flapping on and gather Gwyn up and then search and kill.
Naturally. Mm-hmm.
You did so good, Gwyn. Oof. Terrible roll, though. That's a 7 for my investigation.
Okay.
Jeremy, what's the status of this cart?
I mean, it definitely has some dings and cuts in it, but yeah, it's definitely got blood all over it, on one side of it in particular. But other than that, it seems fine.
Is it a cart that would be carrying cargo by chance?
It would be, yes.
I would like to subtly investigate the cargo while they're having the conversation with this lady.
Okay. Then you roll me a stealth in addition to your investigation, if you would, please. Okay, everybody who is investigating brigands has already rolled. Yes, okay. Looks like Silas got an 11. Ash got a 14.
I rolled a 2, man. Like I'm
2.
just
Yeah.
I'm just busy pulling these bolts out of my chest.
Heard. I mean, it's definitely something that would take your attention.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Silas, you discover one thing of note. Any of the vials that were pulled or drunk during the battle, including a couple that you find that were unimbibed, are etched with the letters C, F, I. CFIII, or CF3 if it's a Roman numeral. Yeah. So Silas discovered that. In amongst that, Silas, you also found, let's see, how many potions had been drunk? The giant, the fire breathing, 2 invisibilities. So you're going to find 3 additional vials. Roll me a d4 3 times, if you would, please.
I wish that was my magic missile. That's a 4 3 times.
A 4 3 times. Okay. Oh, oops. So it actually calls for a d4, but there's actually only 3 options on the table. So roll me a d3 3 times. My bad.
Okay, that's 3, 6, so I guess another 3, and then a 4, which I guess would be a 1.
Okay. You found a potion of growth and 2 potion of invisibilities. 2 potions of invisibility, even. I can pluralize.
As I'm rifling through and grabbing these potions, at least one of these individuals that are asleep, I take out my dagger and I push the tip into the throat, and I whisper to this individual that such a death is too nice for someone such as this individual, as I, just kind of push in the dagger as the blood kind of bubbles.
Okay. Our other investigator was Ash. Ash, as you are searching these individuals, you find one of the brigands has a tattoo on their forearm of a cobra.
Do I recognize it?
Roll me a history check.
You've seen one like that before.
Okay. Then I would say yes. You definitely do.
I have a similar.
I was going to say,
Wynn,
where did Ash see this before? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
She'll take note of the tattoo on the forearm and look over at Wynn, who's probably pulling the final bolt out of a thigh or something, and she'll kind of just give like a low whistle to her. And when Wynn looks over, she'll just motion to the forearm of the body.
Assuming I can see kind of what she's gesturing to from where I'm sitting.
Absolutely.
Wynn just kind of cocks an eyebrow up at Ash and walks over. No kidding, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I'm surprised, but I'm really not.
No.
So Ash would know from our conversations previously that this is the mark that people get when they're in that gang. What's the name of the gang, Jeremy?
The King Cobras.
The King Cobras, of which Ash knows that Wynn was a member when she was a child. But once you're marked for life.
She'll
It was a dare.
it was a dare.
I was young and impressionable.
She'll kind of just let the tattoo get covered back up by clothing and let the forearm kind of fall off to the side and keep searching through these people that are laying here. And
I wonder if it's just this guy or if it's all of them.
I was just going to check some of the others too.
Well, it's been a second, but they generally don't just do highway brigandry. It's usually more low-key than that.
There's a possibility that they're an outlander, just like you. Or it's all of them, and we've just found a bunch of shitty snakes.
Could be. Hey, find anything good?
I don't know. Let me check my notes. Did I find anything good?
In addition to the tattoo, you also find a roughly drawn charcoal map that has 2 words written on it. Still hideout. The map looks like it's a page that's been torn out of a book, and the charcoal drawing has been added to it later. You can roll a nature or survival roll for me if you'd like.
Oh, I changed my dice because those were not working for me, and this is much better now. 19.
Okay. It takes you a moment to realize that the map is actually depicting the area that you're currently in. And that it is the map shows like directions to where this still hideout is labeled. And it looks like it's directions on how to get there, as crude as it might be.
She'll hand it off to Wynn. Hideout location. It's that way.
Well, they probably got more stuff there, right?
Think so.
Do you think we can detour with and she just kind of gestures at the old woman that she doesn't fully trust because you don't trust old women in this setting.
Yes, you do. They have cool stuff. Be nice to them.
She's lamenting the blood spattered all over the far side of the cage. Oh, this is going to take forever to get out.
I imagine like Tegan after killing the invisible guy and not finding anything of interest is like commiserating with like, oh, I'm sure it'll buff right house. You just got to put a little spit and elbow grease into it. I'll help you, of course.
Such a dearie.
Of course. Always respect your elders.
Meanwhile, Naira, what'd you get on your investigation? What'd you get on your stealth?
Meanwhile, Naira is searching the back of this cart. Probably just about as loud as he possibly can. I got a 5 on my stealth and I got a 9 on my investigation.
Excellent. Naira is like tossing things out of the wagon.
Listen, let's be clear. He started this very quietly, and then about 2 items in, he forgot what he was doing, and he's just going through it now.
Perfect. Okay, let me see what you got here. Page numbers are for the week. Just kidding. I can't find where I need to be. Ah, okay. Cool. Naira, you're kind of going through and you're finding, foodstuffs, looks like soaps and perfumes and things probably for this bathhouse. The kind of stuff that you would expect to find. And you pull back like a stack of towels or something, and behind them is a group of like rag dolls, kind of like laid out side to side. It takes you a second, but you realize that these 5 dolls resemble each of your party members, and you included. It's just about that time when Tegan and Benjamina round the corner of the wagon and see you rifling through it. What in the world? You saved me only to rob me?
I think Naira, you see for probably like the first time-ish since you've known Tegan, like that wide smile just falls off her face and like these snake-like eyes narrow as she kind of walks over to you, kind of putting herself between you and Benjamina. I'm sure he was just caught up in the heat of the moment. I apologize on his behalf. He won't do it again. And she kind of like forces the smile and looks at you, Naira, kind of like gesturing for you to like move away from the wagon. She kind of waits to see what you do there.
He stays quiet, definitely with a guilty look on his face, but stays quiet while you kind of make excuses, and then loudly exclaims, "There's no more brigands in here," and shuffles off away from the wagon, back towards where he left his horse earlier.
Roll me a deception, Naira.
Let's see. That is a 13.
13. Okay. She kind of walks forward. Again, this kind of walking stick that she has. And as she nears you, you hear the drone of bees in your ears. She narrows her eyes at you and she says, "For you, maybe there's a special reward for your behavior. Bare touched. It will not soon be forgotten what you've done this day. Mark my words." She then looks up towards the sky and she takes off into the air. That is where we're going to take our break.
Ugh.
So we're going to take a 10-minute...
Need an escort.
Damn
We're
it.
going to take a 10-minute bio break. Go to the bathroom, refill your drinks, smoke them if you got them, kiss your spouse, etc., etc. Sit tight, and we will be right back with the second part of part 1 of Ironclad Covenant.
Smoke effect.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back from the break. We are here with part 1 of Ironclad Covenant, Standing Still. This is a module that has been published by Buckstar Games, a good friend of mine named Ben, who was kind enough to sponsor this game. So thank you very much, Ben, for your generosity and your creativity in putting this book together. I'm having a ton of fun diving in and kind of learning about your setting as well as like your devious mind, and I'm happy to subject some people to it. So that's what we're doing, playing some D&D. Let's see. We are in the Forest of Mains, a twisted and gnarled old world forest. You decided to help a poor defenseless old woman who was ransacked by a group of brigands. You have dispatched the brigands, killing every last one of them, question mark. And then your barbarian may or may not also have dug through her belongings. And when she discovered it, she took off in flight and flew away. So now you are left standing around, realizing that Naira may have just been cursed.
I think. Oh, good, Naira.
Naira's looking up at the sky and thinking that perhaps somebody mentions that, and he just says, "It's probably not the first time, and probably not the last."
You would think, considering you belong to some sort of organization that researches supernatural phenomenon, that you would know better than to piss off an old mother. When you are in the presence of someone like that, you treat them with respect. You don't ransack their belongings. Otherwise, you might curse your entire bloodline, and just kind of look over in your direction, Silas. You have to be careful about these things. You should know better, idiot.
Well, I did find something, if that matters. And Naira will pull out or point out, I'm not touching them, the quote unquote rag dolls that are in the back of the cart.
I'd like to inspect these rag dolls.
Same.
You can roll me an Arcana check.
Oh, that will be an 18.
21.
18. 21. Okay.
I mean, you studied. I just picked it up. So
Studied.
You would both know that there is a number of spells and rituals that could use effigies of individuals. Not many of which are good. But there's also a lot of portents and omens and things of that nature involved in the magic that you might suspect this individual of dabbling in. And the fact that she was able to craft dolls that look like you before ever having met most of you it's interesting, to say the least.
That's one word for it.
she is well known. And I think perhaps it was not by chance that we came across her on this road.
And unfortunately, we can't find out how it is she was able to capture our likenesses or what she was planning to do. I think Tegan's actually going to kind of like flex her hand, and this like polished bone knife kind of appears in her hand. She's gonna poke the ragdoll that looks like Naira. Just like poke it right in like the knee with the edge of the knife. Not like puncture, but just kind of poke it. See if anything happens.
You do so. Naira, there's a bird flying overhead. It takes a shit on you.
Well, that's interesting.
From our knowledge, how might one dispose of one of these ragdolls in a way that would not cause harm to the individual?
I would imagine that there's a ritual of some sort that would, require specific ingredients or spell components, things of that nature, the right words to be said. It's definitely not the kind of thing that you'd be able to do on the road.
On the road, yeah.
Yeah, right now kind of thing. It would take you, several hours to prepare kind of thing.
Well, we cannot leave these dolls, for they may fall in the wrong hands. So let us take them with us. We can properly dispose of them later.
And if we encounter any more strange old women on the road or in Rowansburg, just, treat them with a little bit of respect and don't try to rummage through their personal effects. Better safe than sorry.
Naira, with very much difficulty, restrains himself from saying anything back to you and just smiles and nods.
Wynn and I found a map of the bandit hideout.
Oh.
It's nearby.
Do we want to go there, or do we want to continue on to Rowansburg?
Well, we were going to talk about it, and because we were supposed to have the old woman with us, but that problem's been solved, so.
Problem? What's a problem? But yes.
With that problem's been solved being said, Naira looks back at Tegan with a kind of an eat shit look at that point.
I think Tegan absolutely just sticks her tongue out at you like this, like a 30-year-old woman just like, I think she'll actually go to pick up the dolls as well while we're having this conversation. Just kind of like reach out and pick them up.
Should we take her wagon to Rowansburg for her?
It's funny you should say that.
There.
Oh, go ahead, Jeremy.
It's funny you should say that, Tegan. As you're reaching out, you're going to have time to grab one of these dolls.
Ooh.
Because the carriage is bursting into flames.
Oh God.
So roll me a d5, so you can roll like a d10 and figure out how to slice it.
Oh, let's see. So that is a 6, so we'll call that a 3.
3. 1, 2, 3. It is Naira's doll.
Yeah, I think the wagon bursts into flames. She's like, shit! And she grabs, again, whatever doll she can. She pulls out Naira as it kind of looks at you, Naira, and then just tucks it into her satchel. And I think like Wynn starts thrashing inside the satchel. Now that this doll is in there, maybe you feel like a poke or something, or another bird shits on you. I don't know. Do the rest of us feel anything as the other dolls burn for the other 4 of us?
Nope. Don't seem to. So the carriage goes up in flames. Again, like spontaneous combustion, just from nothing to fully engulfed in like a snap. And when that
Smells
happens,
like a whorehouse with all the melting perfumes and the waxes and
I think it's nice.
simultaneously as the wagon bursts into flames, the horses that had been drawing this carriage both become swarms of strange looking bees, and then they take to the skies and fly off in a similar direction to that which you saw sweet Benjamina take off in.
is it back towards the forest we came through with all the weird wicker people?
Yes, it's back towards the south where you've come from.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest that we don't attempt to gather any honey or crush any bees of any kind that we come across until we're well without of this region.
Agreed.
Let us stick to the road and make our way to Rowansburg. We could do with a bit of a rest. And it seems Rowansburg is not without its own problems anyhow.
I mean, do we want to leave this bandit hideout alone? I mean, I'm not opposed to going either way, but
The hideout is not going anywhere. And wouldn't you rather go in prepared than, well, not knowing other information that we might be able to get from Rowansburg?
that's fair. That is assuming that these individuals who are attacking Sweet Benjamina, they aren't missed, and then they start to wonder what's happened to their comrades, and could mean more defenses when we do choose to go. I don't think we should go now. I think we should definitely take a rest, but I think there is still a question of if we should go directly to the bandit hideout or go to Rowansburg after we rest.
Oh, would you like to just go stealth yourself over to it and check it out for us?
I mean, I
See
could.
if there's anyone in it. If
I
there's no one in
could.
it, we could go in it and take whatever you want.
I mean, you know me, I like shiny things, so I wouldn't be
I'm
opposed.
aware, which is why I'm just cutting to the chase of this conversation of, do you want to go look for the shiny things?
I am not opposed to heeding the will of the group. Whatever most of you want to do, I will happily come along.
We have the benefit that if they have money there that we can gather, we may be able to buy more supplies and potions and stuff at Rowansburg, so. And pay for an in night instead of sneaking out before the sun rises, having not paid.
It's a little thrilling, though. Isn't it exciting? Get your blood pumping in the morning, you know? Little sleep and dash. Sleep and sprint.
Okay. So it sounds like Tegan is going to follow this map.
Yeah. How far away does it look like this place is from where we are now?
It's probably a good half mile to a mile. I mean, it's close in the relative scheme of things. Closer than Rowansburg.
I think she'll kind of look over the group for a moment. I mean, I imagine like both Wynn and Ash are in like heavy armor. I know Silas has, expended some spells, probably isn't looking great, though I know he healed himself. So I think despite herself, she'll look to you, Naira, and say, do you want to come with me? I think she'll pull the doll out of the satchel, just make the little arm wave at you.
I will accompany you.
Excellent.
Until we see another old woman, then I guess I should stay away.
You should. Just let me do the talking. It'll be fine.
I don't want to get cursed twice in one day. Maybe tomorrow.
That's a good point. Maybe keep like a 10-foot distance between the two of us, just in case you spontaneously combust into a swarm of bees or something. And yeah, Tegan will kind of put up the hood of her dryad skin cloak and just kind of melt into the forest, heading in the direction that the map shows the still hideout is in.
Okay.
We'll set up a temporary camp next to the smoldering ruins of the caravans.
Excellent. Just as quickly as it had gone up, it goes out, and now it's just like this burnt out, like, husk of a thing. Yeah, you can absolutely set up like a little small camp. The other three of you can take a short rest if you'd like, while you wait for Tegan and Naira to kind of go scout about. As you're making this little jaunt, Tegan, you notice it is taking way longer than it should to traverse that like half mile. And every time that you like kind of turn around, Naira is like stuck on brambles, or like you found the easy path through, you know, the foliage and like the underbrush, and Naira chose like the hardest way to go through. It just seems like Naira just cannot catch a break. There's several times where he like steps in a hole or like trips over a root, not to the point where he's like bumbling or falling, but just he's haggard like the whole way that you're trying to make this trip.
I think she doesn't say anything for like the first little bit, but as it kind of drags on for a while, I think she eventually stops, maybe like kind of like squatting on a root or something, like resting her elbows on her knees, and just sort of watches as Naira is struggling to keep up. And she says, I just have to ask, Naira, you know, you're part of a group that studies the supernatural influences of the Hag's Eye Moon, which I personally think is ridiculous. It's a supernatural phenomenon. Just enjoy it for what it is. But I don't understand why someone with your knowledge would go rummaging around in an old woman's wagon. I mean, look at yourself. You're covered in mud. You just got stuck in your third bramble. I mean, do you want to go back to the others? Maybe that's best. You seem to be, well, cursed.
I thought there would be something important in the card. You don't trust old women on the road in this type of area. Unfortunately, I wasn't as quiet as I wanted to be. As far as accompanying you, I can keep up, he says as his cloak gets caught on another bramble, and actually tears a bit at the hem this time.
Oh, and it was so nice. Yeah, I think she just shakes her head. She says, you should go back to the others. Do you think you'll be able to find your way, or should I accompany you just to make sure you don't, I don't know, get eaten by a bigger bear?
Naira looks visibly angry at you at the bigger bear comment. I'll try not to take that personally. Good luck. Hopefully you don't meet any old women. And he turns and attempts to stomp off and steps in a gopher hole or something and nearly trips and falls. And
if I do, I'll be sure to not try and rummage through their personal effects. Also, watch out for that gopher hole. And she'll kind of slink off into the shadows, continuing to follow the map.
Naira, as you turn and you step into this gopher hole, as you're freeing yourself from it, you spot tracks
of a bigger bear.
No, not quite. Close. Maybe a smaller bear. Just right. You spy them leading off towards a rocky knoll nearby. Tegan is kind of headed in the right direction, but you can definitely see that this is probably what the map was indicating. It's definitely large enough that somebody could probably hide in it. A rocky knoll. Adrian!
So, if I'm understanding right, I see tracks leading off to what appears to be the hideout, and Tegan's going elsewhere?
So, like, from where you're at, you're able to spot, like, these tracks that kind of, like, cut through the underbrush to this rocky knoll. And Tegan is kind of taking, like, what looks like a long way around, but it looks like it's probably going to head. Tegan's eventually going to end up there as well. It's just you can see that someone has definitely traveled this way and is headed to that rocky outcropping.
Okay, I'm following those tracks then.
Okay. Tegan, you as well as now Naira, you spy this rocky knoll, and as you start to draw closer, you can smell an acrid, kind of pungent odor in the air, almost like rotten eggs. Something that strong, that specific. In addition, you also hear what sounds like heavy snoring. Tegan, from the side that you are approaching from, you can actually see that there's a small rise in the land that kind of falls away on the backside, facing away from the road. And you can actually see an opening, like a large fissure, and beyond there seems to be a cave.
Yeah, I think she will. Has she, so in order to get to where she's at right now, has she left the tree line, or is this still a pretty heavily forested area?
It's all fairly heavily forest, yeah, in this
Okay.
area for sure.
Perfect. I think she will, as she kind of sees this cave, she kind of stare at it for a few moments, kind of look back in the direction where she assumes Naira was heading back to the others, unaware that that is not the case. And she's going to sit down at the base of one of these trees, and she's going to pull Gwyn out of her bag and say, "Listen, I know you're very tired, but I just need you to take a look in there. You can do this." And she's going to throw him into the air. And as the bat, I imagine she kind of falters a little bit and then just furiously flaps his wings. And she's going to send her familiar in there, and she'll kind of close her eyes and kind of see through Gwyn's vision and kind of hear through his ears, kind of going temporarily blind and deaf herself. And she'll send the bat in there to kind of scope out what is in this cave or in this fissure.
All right. Yeah, I don't know why, but in my mind, I think Gwyn has one wing that beats twice as fast as the other.
The little Nemo fin, just like. For some reason, I keep seeing Bartok from the animated Anastasia movie.
Yeah. Same. Okay. So you can see through her vision, or you communicate telepathically.
Right, and as long as he is within 100 feet of where Tegan is, then she can see and hear kind of through his senses. Yeah.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we see this kind of Daredevil-esque, echolocation recreation of a three-dimensional space, as you are able to see. Inside the cave is a copper still that is resting over smoldering coals, with spiral tubing leading down to a dirty cup. Nearby is an old crate stuffed with glass vials, along with 6 bedrolls, 2 of which are currently occupied by sleeping figures, who are dressed very similarly to the brigands that you just fought.
Do they look human?
Humanoid. So human, elf, half-elf, probably somewhere around there. Imagine the brigands that you fought were a mixture.
And then I know you said the still was kind of draining into a cup of some kind, and then you said were there vials as well,
yes,
containers somewhere?
There is an old crate stuffed with glass vials.
Okay. Can Gwyn see if any of those vials are full at this moment, or are they all empty, awaiting fulfillment, so to speak?
It looks as though they are empty.
Okay. Okay. I think as she kind of does a circuit, is there anything else in the cave that Gwyn can see? Is there like another passage leading deeper in, or is it just the cave with the still and the two sleeping humanoids?
I think that's probably all that she really sees. She can't go through anything. She
Correct.
can't,
Correct.
like really stop moving for very long, kind of thing. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any other entrances or exits from this space, though. It doesn't look like an overly large cave.
Okay. I think with that, Tegan will recall Gwyn, put him back in the satchel, and then I think she'll sort of stare at the entrance to the cave for a few moments, and then she will whisper under her breath, "I can change my shape like a snake sheds its skin. Now let the games begin." And her body's going to like shimmer, almost like there's this weird like refraction or reflection on the water, or on water rather. And she's going to make herself look like one of the bandits that we just fought. Maybe the guy, I think you said there was a guy with like mutton chops, maybe the guy that was the giant and then shrank back down. So she's going to make herself look like that with disguise self.
Excellent. Naira,
Mhm.
you're kind of sneaking forward as best you can. Again, brambles, roots, holes. You kind of push a branch out of the way, and part of it, breaks free of your hand and hits you in the face. And at one point, you look up and you see one of the brigands. You swear that you saw him killed at the road. You see him walking straight towards that rocky knoll that you're making your way towards.
I think for a change, Naira makes a decent choice and doesn't just immediately charge in to fight this brigand. There's a possibility that there could be others in this cave or knoll. So I think I'm just going to continue to sneak up forward and until I can get a vantage point and see what's going on.
Okay.
I am
continue to sneak forward.
keeping a very close eye on this brigand that I just saw essentially come back from the dead.
Probably not a bad idea. You keep an eye on this individual. You kind of crouch low, maybe, and kind of stay out of the the peripherals of this individual as they approach the entrance of the knoll, or the side of the knoll. I guess you don't really know that there's an entrance yet, but it looks as if they're walking straight into the side of this rocky outcropping here in the woods. Tegan, as you approach the entrance, I need you to roll a perception check, please.
I shall do that. That is a 17 plus 6 for a 23.
Okay. You are nearing the edge of the cave and starting to pass through the threshold when you spot a very cleverly hidden trap, kind of in the middle, thoroughfare of where you'd kind of pass into this cave from. Definitely the path that would be the easiest to traverse. And as you kind of get a little closer and kind of take a little better look at it, you realize that, strangely enough, it is a bear trap.
Ha! I think she does kind of chuckle under her breath. She's like, heh. Yeah, I guess. So I know you said it was kind of like in the way of like the easiest path for her to travel. Is there a way that she can just like, since she can see it, can she just step over it or step around it? Is that
Definitely
a possibility? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she will do that. I do think kind of as she is, she'll kind of open up this again, clearly stolen like military officer's coat that's like a little dirty and kind of grungy, clearly, probably taken off a corpse somewhere in the forest. She's gonna open it up, and I think we see kind of one of the pockets, something like wriggles, and then something seems to come out, but there's nothing there. She has an invisible mage hand that she is going to have creep out of her jacket, kind of like crawl down her leg, and almost like Cousin It from the Addams Family just starts scuttling along the ground. And I think she's going to try to, if she can get into the cave after passing the bear trap, try to rifle through the sleeping brigands' belongings, essentially, and see if there's anything of value.
Okay.
Well
So
said,
brigands
Tamiko.
are okay, just not old ladies.
Exactly. You've got to have priorities, you know.
Okay. As we see or not see the invisible thing crawl into the cave to go be Sticky Fingers, we cut back to the three individuals who are at the road waiting for Naira and Tegan. What are the three of you up to? What is the mood or the conversation like at camp?
How long do we wait for them?
Give them at least a couple of hours.
Hmm.
Do you think it was smart to let them go?
Of course not. Wouldn't be the first time, won't be the last.
It's true. She'll look over at Silas. How are you doing?
I'm feeling better. Thanks to your healing and this rest. If they are smart, they will simply scout and return with details. Hopefully, Tegan's curiosity doesn't get the better of her. But while we're waiting, both of you seem to know a little bit more about these individuals.
Ash will look up at Wynn and kind of give her that this is your story to tell, not mine situation.
Well, we didn't check all of them, only the one, but I can tell you that the one that we did check was a member of the King Cobras, at least at some point.
And these cobras, what is their main source of thievery, thuggery?
They're like organized crime, right, Jeremy?
Yes, yeah, very much so.
Um, usually not regular highway robbery. It's more backdoor deals. Backdoor. Um in the shadows. I used to run product for them when I was a child. I didn't know what I was doing. They would hand me a satchel, tell me where to go. I'd come back with a box. And they would give me coin. It was a good gig.
Given who their target was, I'm not quite sure this was just some sort of random highway robbery.
Do you think that they set out to target her knowing who she was? I
Perhaps.
feel that if we hadn't intervened, she would have done all right on her own.
Perhaps. Or perhaps she could have orchestrated it in order to draw us in. Playing the part of a helpless woman.
Yeah. Did you get a peep at those dolls before the fire started? That was uncanny. Mine had a little pike.
Yes, that's a spell, a ritual that witches use. Having those dolls, well, she could have had some sort of level of influence. Chilling thought, though, is usually in order to create those, something personal has to be taken from the individual.
Huh.
Wait, what do you mean, like our hair or something?
Could be, or some sort of other token. It just needs to be something meaningful for the individual itself.
Are the
Yep.
Do you think it's the bees?
Whatever it is, it doesn't make me take any more of a liking to the older women around these parts.
Someday you're going to be an older woman around these parts.
Bold of you to think that I'll live to be elderly. Oh, Ash.
That was the joke.
How is what's the time? I mean, like Jeremy, is how much daylight are we looking at having left here?
I don't imagine that even hardy adventurers like yourselves really push your luck as far as like travel time during like the waning hours of light. So I imagine you waited until the sun was good and risen before you set out on the road. So I imagine it's probably like early afternoon at this point. You would figure that you have probably another good 4 or 5 hours of travel in you before you would want to not be caught out and about. Okay. Cut back to the forest, elsewhere in the forest. The rocky knoll of your worst nightmare. Tegan, you have spotted this trap, have stepped around it, and you have now released your unseen hand
Jace.
into the cave. Okay, it is going forth and searching.
Yeah,
Me?
just rummaging through like the pockets of these sleeping brigands. I think she'll actually go into like the actual room with the still and just kind of maybe even like make like she's going to one of the unoccupied bedrolls, which she assumes belongs to these bandits that we killed. Just like, again, she's just just one of these bandits, just settling down, whatever. But just kind of seeing what the hand finds.
Okay. You see there are various backpacks and like traveler's gear just kind of like haphazardly like thrown into the corner in like a pile. It definitely looks like this group has been waylaying people on the road for probably like a month or so, just based on how much they've managed to gather. It looks like there could be maybe a couple of interesting items that have been kind of like pulled and set aside. On the brigands that are sleeping, your hand is going to spot.
What do my hand eyes see?
Your hand eyes see a few coins. Not a lot else. They are sleeping after all. Probably each one has a dagger, I would imagine. Somewhere nearby or under their pillow. And again, there's enough like other things that are kind of spread around this place that you can see that they've been here for a while. Like, it definitely looks like they've been living here for some time. But this place also looks like parts of it have been here longer than that. Like the still that's situated in the middle of the room, and some of like the furniture, like there's a small bookshelf, there's like a small table that's kind of rickety. Those are much older. Those have been here for a long time.
I guess what she would do, if it seems like there's not much of interest on the bandits, I think she'll kind of go for whatever looks like it's the most valuable amongst the traveling supplies. Like if there's anything that seems unique or interesting, maybe even potentially magical, I'm happy to roll a check if you think that's necessary. And then I think she will kind of go over and look at the still a little more closely, since this does seem kind of, I assume, unusual, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, that these bandits, they seem to have access to a lot of alchemical supplies, which I imagine is not super typical, especially for an outfit like this. So, but again, happy to make any kind of rolls that you want me to as far as that goes.
Absolutely. You can roll me an investigation check.
Okie doke, I shall. That is an 18, a 14 plus 4.
Okay. So you find a leather-bound journal that on the first page is written Frederick's Alchemy Volume 1. You also find a pack that seems to contain material that is befitting someone of your profession. It is a burglar's pack.
Nice.
You also find no shortage of alchemist supplies, enough to basically constitute an alchemist's kit, if somebody should want it. There are a lot of raw ingredients around. You can roll alchemy supplies if you have that as a tool that you're proficient with. If not, you can roll Arcana.
I am not proficient with it, so I will roll that Arcana. Ooh, that's not as good. You know what? I'm gonna burn my inspiration, because why not? That's
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Slightly better, but not by much. That's a 9.
Okay. So you find a bevy of raw ingredients, but you're not familiar with what they would be used for. It's not something readily available or readily apparent to you.
Okay.
You find quite a bit of coin.
Mm-hmm.
You find 523 gold pieces, 215 silver pieces, and 491 copper pieces.
Jeez Louise.
It's very apparent that they have been robbing and ransacking people on the road for, like I said, a while. And then the last thing that you noticed is a piece of paper that has been stuck to the wall in a crevice with a knife, kind of driven through the paper.
Okay. She will, as quietly as possible, she'll try to get the burglar's kit and the alchemist supplies. And if she can, get as much of the coin as possible, and then she'll kind of take a look at that piece of paper. I think she'll have the invisible mage hand helping, because it didn't find anything of interest on the bandits, so it'll be like ferrying things into her satchel.
One of the brigands kind of like stirs and kind of like reaches up and wipes at his nose. The invisible hand that we don't see like freezes and then keeps going.
Yep. And yeah, what is the what is the piece of paper stuck by the knife say? Yeah.
The piece of paper stuck to the wall reads, "Don't forget to lock the chest at the burned farm. R expects a steady supply of potions to be available to those at the ruins and to our benefactor." Benefactor has quotes written around it.
Okay. Yeah, she will take that as well. And what did you say the still was made out of? You said it was like copper. Is that correct?
It is, in fact, yes, a copper still.
Okay. I think what she's going to do is this. So, and again, if I need to make any kind of stealth check or anything like that to kind of gather up this stuff, happy to do that. but then she's going to do one more thing and then she's going to leave. So if you want, I can go ahead and roll that if you'd like. If you want a stealth check, just as she's gathering up this various
Please
equipment,
do.
if you think she doesn't need it. Could I say that she popped her little cloak hood up so she gets advantage on that potentially?
I think that you'd probably have advantage on it even without that because they're sleeping.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Oh boy, that's only a 15.
Okay. Let us see what we got. The two of them snore and saw logs with little interruption.
Okay. So yeah, she'll gather all this stuff. She'll take the piece of paper, and then she's going to leave, and then she's going to reach into her satchel, which is now like audibly jingling. She's going to pull out this like iron flask, and she's going to hand it to Nothing, which is actually the unseen hand. And she's going to remove the cap, and I imagine there's like this faint like little wisp of like yellowish green smoke that comes out. She's going to say, "You're going to pour this acid onto the still, and you're going to destroy it." And so the hand's just going to kind of float over with this vial of alchemical acid. And yeah, she'll have the hand just kind of dump it on the still. She'll give it another vial, dump it on the still, and hopefully that damages enough that these guys can't use it to brew more potions. And then she's going to leave.
Okay. I need Tegan to make a dexterity saving throw, please.
Dexterity save and throw. That's 21.
All right. 21. That's good.
I hope so. That was all my alchemical acid.
Okay. You're going to take 6 points of fire damage.
Oh no!
As Nothing pours this acid onto the still, it explodes.
Nice.
And when it blows up, it sends pieces of coal and copper and pieces of the furniture and the belongings that were kind of nearby, just ricocheting all over this small cavern. And Tegan, not having quite left all the way, is just like bombarded with shrapnel, as well as kind of the concussive force like escaping from this still that blows up. But apparently she was close enough to the entrance that she was able to avoid the worst of it.
I think as she just kind of she gets hit, staggers a little bit, and then as she sees like just the effects of the explosion, like I imagine at the very least these bandits that were sleeping are burning, if nothing else. I think maybe Naira and maybe the others, you hear this like very faint, like distant cackling. It sounds like some kind of hag or some kind of witch as Tegan is just laughing uproariously. She scuttles into the forest away from the devastation she's caused with all of her ill-gotten gains. I think as soon as she's in the tree line, she'll drop the disguise self and just kind of hurry back to where the others were. Yeah.
Naira, you suddenly hear and see and feel this explosion like emanate from the side of this like rocky knoll, and that undead brigand that you saw go in comes running out, like scampering and cackling.
I think that Naira is thoroughly confused at this point. I believe the great axe has come out, and he's honestly not sure if he's supposed to plant this great axe in this presumably undead brigand's back, or what. The cackling is really throwing him off, and I think maybe 5-6 feet out after what is Tegan comes running out of the cave. I think Naira starts to give chase with his axe out.
And as he does so, yes, we do in fact cut back to the road where the three of you are kind of sitting, kind of like having this discussion about how long you wait. And then there is this like far away explosion noise, and definitely in the direction that they went.
Yeah, that's expected.
Fair.
Should we check the rest of the arms?
Why not?
We're gonna check the rest of the arms.
All right.
Just while this explosion is happening behind us, and Silas is resting.
You search the rest of the bandits. And to clarify, even the ones, like all of the ones that were sleeping, somebody killed, correct?
Well, the one that she burnt, we might not be able to identify.
Fair enough. He's keeping you warm though, which is nice. I know Silas killed one.
Yes, we did. We killed the sleepy ones.
All right.
We offed them.
Got it. No casualties.
No witnesses.
Casualties. Witnesses. What is the? I lost it. Okay, you search the rest of the brigands' forearms. You do not find any others that have a cobra tattoo. It's just the one individual that you found it on. Okay. Back in the forest, at the rocky knoll, Naira is now giving chase with this great axe drawn. Tegan, you are cackling like mad, jingling all the way, and you hear it crashing in the forest behind you, and turn around, and brambles be damned, Naira is running at you with his axe held high.
Yeah, I think she's very surprised. I think she like stops mid-laugh and then just kind of tilts her head, and then she's just going to like step to the side to get out of his immediate path, trying to like duck out of the way of the great axe, not sure what is going on.
Are you Tegan at this point, or are you still this brigand?
So I think like when she was like deep within the trees, she would have dropped the disguise self. So I don't know if that's happened yet, Jeremy, or if she would still be disguised as
okay. Maybe Naira, you like charge past where Tegan has kind of like ducked behind a tree for a moment or something, and when you kind of like come about, the brigand's not there, but Tegan steps out from behind a tree.
Do you feel good about yourself right now? Go ahead.
Where did he go?
It was me. You've seen me use magic before. It was a trick. Do you want some gold? I've got so much gold. And she like hefts up the satchel. I imagine like Wynn is just like partially hanging out because there's just so much crap in this bag now. I'll give you some gold. Let's go back to the others. I'm sure they're pining for you. I thought you were going back anyway.
Naira is like rubbing the back of his neck, a little confused for a moment, and then that confusion turns visibly to disappointment as he realizes there's not an undead brigand in size, and I guess we'll nod at Tegan and follow him back to camp, or follow her back to camp.
Again, the return trip is longer than it should be. Filled with small inconveniences and aggravations. I think Naira, probably at one point you absolutely step in bear shit.
Oh no.
But eventually
that's probably mine.
That's what happens when you retrace your steps.
I was literally just here.
You get back, we're sitting around this pile of dead bodies with like the one sleeve raised, and
each one
just sitting there trying to teach everybody how to tie a double hitch. Like, no, you have to wrap it around. Oh my goodness.
I don't need to know how to do this.
Oh, did I miss the knot tying? I love knot tying. You should have waited until I got back. Also, I have money.
You're alive.
Yes,
Oh.
of course. Why wouldn't I be?
She takes out a gold and flips it to Wynn.
Aw, you cared enough to make a bet. That's so sweet. And she'll walk over to the others. And yeah, I think she'll just like set down the satchel, which is overflowing with coins. I think she'll hand I don't know if you can even use it, but she'll kind of hand the alchemist supplies to you, Silas. And yeah, she'll tell everyone kind of what happened with the still and the two burned bandits probably, and then she will of course show them the piece of parchment or paper that she found as well with the message on there. So a burned farm and a locked chest. Someone named R expects a steady supply of potions, which they probably won't be getting since the still's gone. And something about a benefactor. Sounds interesting.
Well, suppose we should be on the lookout for a burned farm.
And ruins.
Mm-hmm.
Are any of us familiar with the area that we're in at all, or is this just brand new territory for us, Jeremy?
No, I definitely think that at least a few of you have been here. I think Tegan, at the very least, would be maybe not from this general area, but at least somewhere nearby.
Yeah,
because
like in the
Bronwyn
vicinity.
does not live very far away.
We could go see my mother. Yeah, I guess would she know of any kind of ruins or a burned farm?
Oh,
maybe.
Or
Faro
farms
Valley
that
is.
might not be burned yet.
Oh yeah,
like
good point.
in your
Good point.
recollection.
That's a good point.
Yeah, Faro Valley is filled with ruins. This is like kingdoms built upon kingdoms kind of like area, and this place has been plagued for like ages about like
So cool.
supernatural warfare and like the rise and fall of all of these like great empires and things like that. So yeah, there's no shortage of ruins. It could be any number of things that they're referencing. Burned Farm, on the other hand, there has been rumor circulating about a farmstead that was put to the torch not that long ago in this area. And there has been some speculation as to whether or not it might be lost the word again. Related to related to the disappearing children from Rowansburg.
Yeah, Tegan will relay that to the others. Just kind of see what their takes are on this as a possible next port of call, potentially.
I will also add, at some point, I would imagine that Naira sees or handles one of the potion vials, whether it's empty or full, and notice the letters that are etched into the glass. That's CFIII. And for Naira, that is noteworthy because there was a similarly etched vial that was found on your best friend's corpse whenever it was discovered.
Do you have any recollection of whether that vial was full or empty?
It was empty. As the group has regathered here at the road, making the decision about where to go next, perhaps Rowansburg, perhaps not, we watch through the gaze of one of the dead brigands as the scene takes on a bizarre texture. It morphs into that of a projected image upon a wall of black stone. The beams of light producing this projection are traced back to their origin. The glowing eyes of a decapitated Fae's head, locked within a golden birdcage. A withered hand, dyed in soot, extends its curled talon-like nails through the cage and strokes the abomination behind its pointed ear. A wide, wicked smile spreads across its face, and the observer croaks, "I've seen enough. For now." That is where we're going to call session 1. So, thank all of you very, very much for agreeing to play in this game and for bringing everything that you have so far. I had an absolute blast running this. I cannot wait to see where the next 2 sessions are going to take us. I'm stoked. So I'm going to pass things over to my players once again so they can give any kind of parting words that they would like, and then we're going to call it an evening. So we're going to start in reverse order with Tamiko.
Damn, y'all went hard. Like, woo! That was a good time. Looking forward to session 2. Curious to see what direction we're gonna go. I think to Silas's chagrin, we are not going to be making our way to town anytime soon. So yeah, I will see you guys in episode 2.
Yeah, I'm so thrilled with how this went. Very much looking forward to, like I said, figuring out what we're gonna do for session 2. Okay, next up is, I almost called you Tegan. Next up is Jason.
I am my character. Yes, I've been Jason Osorio playing Tegan Hemlock. Again, thank you so much, Jeremy, for inviting me to this amazing time. As has already been said, I'm very eager to see what happens in session 2. It's so funny with these like spooky settings. You get like just such a wide array of characters, and it's just so fun to see kind of how they all bounce off each other. Yeah, definitely, stay tuned for the next session and for all the other things that Jeremy has coming up. I know, are we playing the second session of this next Friday? Is that correct? Is it Thursday or Friday?
Ooh,
Like
you're gonna
I thought.
catch me on the carpet here.
It's next Friday.
I
It's
think
the
we're
8th.
pushing to Friday because
Mhm.
Thursdays, Jeremy and I are
Yes.
returning to Kids on Bike.
Caravans, yep.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Perfect.
So
check
yes,
us out next Friday.
Friday the
Yeah.
8th.
Nice. Nice. So yeah, very, very excited. And of course, thank you to all my fellow players for this amazing time. Glad I get to play with most of you. And Nathan, you're okay. Yes, no, I'm just kidding. You're incredible, man. But yeah, I will pass it on to the next person.
It is Mr. Incredible himself, Nathan.
Yeah, so I was actually kind of going back through Jeremy's channel and just kind of clicking on the videos that I've been a part of while we were in this game, and I realized, Tamiko, you're the only person that I haven't played with yet. But I've seen you around both Jeremy's channel and other channels so much that I feel like I have played with you before. But I have played with Alan, I have played with Kenya, and Jason and I recently played, very recently played. So it's nice to get back with you guys and kind of get back into it, and also play with somebody new. Like I said at the beginning of the session, I always enjoy the groups that Jeremy puts together. I don't really have to ever worry if I'm going to find my place in that group, because there's either somebody that I've played with before that I know I can bounce off of and connect with really quickly, or the group meshes so well that eventually those pieces fall into place and your character finds your kind of spot in the group. And I love that. I love that I can trust these other players to really kind of delve into this character and find out who Naira really is, because I can put a backstory together and kind of have an idea, but until I actually get in the character and find out how he fits with the party, I never know exactly how that character is going to react. So thank you guys for being great players. Thank you, Jason, for giving me just as much crap as you did in Jumanji. It makes me feel at home. And Jeremy, thank you for inviting me and letting me be a part of this. I'm a big fan of like small, compact rule sets. So feels a little different getting back into D&D again. But oh man, this just dark setting is my jam too. I'm loving this so far, and I can't wait to explore it some more.
Hell yeah, dude. I could not agree anymore. I love dark fantasy, especially with like a fairy tale or a whimsical twist, which witches are always like just such a great way to kind of do that. So yeah, I 100%, when I kind of pegged that particular note, that particular tone to this adventure, I was like, oh, okay, I think I know how I want to handle this. So I'm really, really happy to know that that y'all are digging it. So All right, next up is Kenya.
Yeah, to just kind of reiterate everything that everybody's saying, I always love playing in a Jeremy game, and you do pick just an amazing set of players for every game. You really think about who will excel in the particular setting that you're doing or the story that you're planning, and you can really tell by everyone that you pick. It's nice to sit at a table with all of you again and to kind of get to knock some of the rust off of off of my RP with you folks, because it's been a while and I'm really enjoying it. I am a fan of this setting very, very much. I'm sitting here looking at the book on Drive Through RPG, just kind of waiting for the session to end to go grab that real quick because I wanna, but I won't look at it until after we're done because I don't want to ruin anything. But yeah, so other than that, I am super excited that we get to play again next Friday. That's great. I like to be able to kind of keep things moving forward real fast. So I'm excited to see you guys then, and it's going to be a long week till then.
You heard it here first, folks. Kenya moves fast.
Oh,
So-
well, I mean, there's,
I mean, in D&D
I'm-
games, you just play one on TV.
Listen, Vera is really good at what she does.
True dat. No, thank you very much, Kenya. Yeah, I am very fortunate to have a big circle of friends that I can call on who are tremendous role players and who are affable people who get along well with a lot of other people. The two things don't always go hand in hand. People who are good at acting or role playing and improvisation are not always the easiest people to get along with. So whenever I find those diamonds in the rough, if you will, I definitely keep you guys on a short list of people that I'm going to contact for a game like this. So I am very happy whenever a table composition works out as far as chemistry. It's always kind of a shot in the dark. Even with people that you never know how two other people are going to interact with each other. But I have been more pleasantly surprised than unpleasantly surprised by it. So I'm very happy that trend is continuing. So thank you. All right. And in no small part, thanks to, last but certainly not least, Alan.
Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, it was nice to get back in the saddle and play some D&D with familiar faces and get to enjoy a couple of hours rolling dice and just chuckling and stuff. And so thanks, Jeremy, for inviting me. I'm looking forward to our next session. I'm no stranger to the dark fantasy setting. It is one of my favorite settings. So I am really interested to see how this goes. And Jeremy, you are one of my favorite GMs in the sense of you really set the tone. And so you've done that here tonight. Look forward to how it progresses in the next two sessions. So thank you so much for everyone making this a fun evening, and a warm welcome back into the D&D table. So thanks.
Oh yeah, man! Thank you. And that compliment is huge because as far as GMs that have fantastic tones, as far as setting the stage, you're definitely one of my favorites as far as nailing the note of a particular setting. So that is a huge compliment. So thank you. Yeah, like I said, you're all fantastic individuals as well as being tremendous players. I love the fact that getting to play a game with you is a fun way to spend an evening, not just because we're getting to tell stories and play a game, but also because you're just genuinely fun people to hang around. I enjoy spending time with you, and that makes doing this a breeze. So thank you. I'm very excited for what comes next. I hope that it goes as swimmingly as this did. Again, I'd like to say a massive thank you to Ben and Buckstar Games for sponsoring this game, this trilogy that you're seeing, as well as for writing Ironclad Covenant, and for inviting me along that journey as a consultant on the book. I had a lot of fun kind of giving my thoughts on how some of this was shaping up as it was being developed, and I'm really, really blown away by what Ben did with it. Tremendous book. I highly recommend, if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, if you like gothic horror and dark whimsy, that go check it out. It is available on DriveThruRPG. Go buy a copy. Run it for your group. Talk about it. Yeah. If you enjoyed what you saw tonight here on the channel, then do all the stuff that the YouTube algorithm likes to see. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, comment, share the link around, talk about it with your friends, and tell them about Ironclad Covenant again. Come back for session 2. Give us a watch for the second session of this, and the third. Yeah. What else? Remember, please, kindness is a free action. It costs you absolutely nothing to be kind to someone else, and you have no idea how much of a difference it might make in their day, their month. You have no idea what they're going through. It could turn their day around. And if it costs you absolutely nothing and it could make all of the difference in the world to someone, that is a very easy transaction to make, in my opinion. And as I say every time, incidentally, this is how we make the world a better place. Right? Everybody choosing to interact with one another with kindness. That's how it's done. But remember, kids, if you see a Nazi, punch a Nazi. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to climb down off of my soapbox and out of this chair. But before I do, I'm going to say, until next time.
Soapbox got burnt up tonight.
It's true. It happens so often. Until next time, may your dice roll high, and your snacks always be within reach.
#hand stuff.